Yeah. Up in the building. Yeah, we lighting up the scene. Crypto gems on radar, chasing every dream. Do your own research, that's the golden theme. We bring the facts, no cap, we keep it clean. Scrolling through the charts, got my eyes on the rise. Viber got the info, got me feeling so wise. No hype, just the truth, yeah, we cutting through lies. Sharpen knowledge on the daily, watch the profits multiply. From Bitcoin to the altcoins, we digging for gold. Community so strong, never do what you're told. That's the motto, let the story unfold. We ain't selling you a dream, just the facts to behold. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep the future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. No pump and dump, just the realest advice. We break it all down, make it simple and nice. Every tip, every trick, got you rolling the dice. But with knowledge in your pocket, you can win every price. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep your future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. So when you're lost in the crypto sea, Viber is the light, come vibe with me. Stay smart, stay sharp, and you'll always see the best gems shine with transparency.
Let's fucking go. Happy Friday. And what a day. Isn't it funny how fast your emotions can swing? We were talking about it yesterday. In one day, Bitcoin goes to 127. The cycles are over. We're going to $1 million. The next day, it's over. We're crashing. And today was one of the most manipulated liquidations I have ever seen. And it almost feels to me like someone knows all these ETFs are about to launch. And I'm sure there were people that probably wanted to get bags of these ETFs that were going to come out. So that is my guess is what happened is just a major leverage flush liquidation, clear everything out, let every institution accumulate their bags. They hit their limit orders and now we can roll. And I've been saying it for a while that I was fearing that we would not have a COVID type capitulation happen again. And sure enough, it did, but it's getting bought back so fast that, guys, I'm not even worried about it. We got the government shut down. There's so much chaos around the world. This is just the new normal. So we got a special guest joining us tonight. My man Fast Abdul is here to talk all things good, bad, crazy. What's good, brother?
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I'm just living in this tarp tent here, as you can see, so I can DCA this dip here. Now is the time, in my opinion.
Yeah, bro, we got to get you some steel rods or something to get your roof straightened up back there.
Yeah, it's going to be winter in Canada soon, so yeah, the little insulation would be nice too. Maybe a space heater, but I think Pulsechain is going to at least make me enough to buy a space heater, maybe a propane tank or two. I'm going to get through the winter.
Yes, sir, bro. We definitely are. I think it's going to be a fantastic winter. I think we are right on par for us to just go up and to the right for the next 6-8 months. I think everybody is so traumatized from the FTX days, the Solana meme coin days, and now everyone that just went over to Binance because it was the glory days. Everyone was making money. Well, everyone now is going back to Solana because that everyone lost money now. It's all gone. So this whole just sloshing money around and, launching shit coins. It's just everyone's losing money, man. It's no one wins except for a few people, and it's not sustainable. So people just have this, I need to double, triple my bag and get out. And that is the last mentality you want to have, I think, coming forward.
It's totally understandable. I'm with you. So I was kind of napping today, and I didn't really catch all the things that happened, but like I sort of turned on my computer 20 minutes before I got on here, and yeah, it looks like stuff blew up, eh? I was only checking the pulse price and was like, oh, it's fine, like, yeah, it's not great, it's fine. But apparently the rest of crypto exploded.
Bro, the whole entire market. I mean, this was 8 times bigger. The COVID capitulation was $1 billion. This was like $8.9 billion, like the largest liquidation ever by a lot, which that shows me that people aren't flush with cash. Everybody was already all in on leverage. So there is no way retail is pumping this market. This is going to be the institutions pumping money into the ETFs. And then once we see certain coins pump, then whales start spending, then it spills out into the ecosystem, and then everything starts moving. But I mean, for Pulsechain, I keep telling people until ETH is well past 5K and moving up, we're going to do nothing. And this whole, we're going to 10,000x, oh, PulseX is going to 10,000x. The buy and burn's going to literally just buy every token and 10,000. It's like, oh my God, that is the worst.
Not today.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you, K for K?
I saw him doing a video game stream, like he was live streaming some video game, like, and it seemed like a paid thing. I think that was the bottom signal for Pulse.
I was just gonna say, that's not a bottom signal right there. Oh man, K for K playing live, bro. That's rough,
like,
man.
I want him to come back, right? Like it's we've seen that in this market. Like we had influences at the start, and then we had some that came back. We had some that came back and they were super bitter when they came back. That was less helpful. But like, I want guys like him to come back because he was actually good at it, right? So like it's hard to remain bullish on bad days, and it's understandable. But like today, like I'm kind of looking at it, and like after quickly reviewing the shit that happened today, and then looking at Pulsechain, I'm like, okay, this is actually bullish. Like like crypto explodes, Pulsechain mostly unaffected, and part of that is the nature of our decentralization, right? Like I read about there was DDoS attacks on like all the major exchanges today, so people couldn't pull their positions in shorts and longs, mostly longs, I would imagine, and that it was like kind of a coordinated attack that resulted in all these giant liquidations. Did you hear about anything like that? Does that sound familiar?
That's exactly what I heard, honestly, is that something happened on a bunch of exchanges where people could not do anything and their stuff was basically locked. And by the time
they couldn't log in to Binance, like 100 million people couldn't log in to
crazy.
Like change their positions.
Wow. Yeah, insane. Bro.
Yeah. But like that's centralization risk, right? That's like one of the things that Richard Hart always talks about. This was different because it's like it's not quite the same. It's not the same as an exchange stealing your money, but like, man, like there's a lot of coordination there. And if you were decentralized, I think not that there can't be like DDoS attacks and stuff can happen, but like high-end users can still access protocols just via the blockchain, right? With verified codes. So it's it's a totally different game.
Bro, it is, man. And like as much as I'm not in a position where I can just gamble on Pulsechain and potentially miss out on the cryptos that are guaranteed to be used by banks, by a lot of these corporations that are going to be building into Web3 and making that transition. There's a handful of cryptos that I know are going to be used. So for me, I can't sleep without being diversified and having myself spread around Pulsechain too, not just in the core, spread out around Pulsechain and then in other sectors of the market where like whatever happens with XRP or Hedera, it's not going to affect Pulsechain. We are in our own island. We are in our own niche of the market that's completely unaffected. So it just always baffled me how people were just so bitter about other projects, or if they took the time and looked into them, it's like, okay, I get it. If you have like a moral reason where you don't want to support this person, they're a piece of shit, or it goes against principles you have, I get it. But if you're not in the position where you can turn down money like that, it was crazy to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I support your multi-chain mentality like that. It's not a terrible plan. Like I am mostly focused on Pulsechain, largely because I'm building on Pulsechain, but like to have other bags, yeah, there would have been some nice days to have like bags on on Sonic or what have you that I probably mostly did not have.
Yeah. I completely miss Sonic because I like getting the stuff like the Ripple, Hedera, Stellar, where I know I can buy it now and I can put it away, and in 5-10 years, it's going to be worth a ton of money. And if not, maybe Flare or Cubic or one of these coins is going to pop off. I feel it. If not, then the whole industry is going to go and we're all screwed at that point. And then if that stuff goes bad, or say no, if that stuff goes well, the centralized stuff works. What I think is going to happen is there's going to be a major liquidity crisis with Tether that happens in the next 6 months or so, where 70% of all liquidity is through Tether. And there's a reason the United States, Visa, MasterCard, MiCA in Europe, they won't touch Tether. They specifically banned it in their legislation. So I think that's the pending black swan that's going to shut these exchanges down. And it's going to allow the banks and institutions to come and swoop them up for pennies on the dollar. And now they can absorb all the assets and then they can start selling the paper derivatives to people. Because that's what I think the plan is the whole time, is to cut out retail, only have like your Coinbases and your exchanges where people are buying and trading on there, but there's really nowhere to withdraw to. You can't send it to your cold wallet. So you never actually have control of those assets. You're always going to be a creditor, just like when you deposit your money into a bank. You become a creditor. It's the same thing with all these exchanges. So us that are here now that understand it, the power of self-custody, to a point where if we hold ETH or swap to the blue chips, they can't stop it. Maybe they can disable a stable coin if someone whatever we're using, Coast stable coin, liquidity, or whatever stable coin we're using, they might not allow it. Okay, that's fine. But as long as we have enough liquidity and Richard can carry our chain, we can just be our own island at this point.
Wait, about the stable coins though, like I have a couple fun facts that are some applicable to Pulsechain and some to crypto in general. So some stable coins have like freeze functions and like delete
all of them, bro.
functions.
Everyone that's compliant in the US has to have that.
But there's a lot of stable coins that don't, right? So like, and that can never be turned off. Like Liquidity, like LUSD, right, is like, it's just on the blockchain, right? Which is the same for all the liquidity forks on Pulsechain. So we have Inkprinter, Liquid Loans, Flex and Earn are all liquidity forks that are on Pulsechain that basically can never be turned off. Like, somebody could find a way to turn off the front end, the back end still works. Anyone could run up a front end, right? Like you have this like projects with immutable code with stable coins that are over collateralized with Richard hard assets that can't be turned off. And there's the same thing on Ethereum with LUSD. So, but like DAI, for example, does not have an off button like on Ethereum. USDT does, USDC does, but on Pulsechain, interestingly enough, they don't. So once you bridge like if you buy DAI from Pulsechain, USDC, or DAI from Ethereum rather, USDC from Ethereum or USDT from Ethereum, and it's bridged to Pulsechain, nobody can freeze it because it's a bridged version, right? They could freeze it when you bridge it back, but not if you
right.
You could send it anywhere, right? You could send it to another wallet, you could swap out of it. So Pulsechain is kind of censorship resistant, even on the stable coins that have censorship options on other chains.
Yeah, bro, that's the exact, bro. It's so true. And that's I was listening to some of the PDI conference earlier, and just to see guys have an awesome conversation, people believing in something that's bigger than all of them, and just Pulsechain itself, what it represents, the only true decentralized blockchain, probably the last that's going to be like this. Every other one is going to have some kind of centralization moving forward. You're going to have to register with the SEC. And I think Hex and Richard got a pass. No one else will. So we are like the last chance in crypto of having what it was originally meant to be. And like they were talking today about what you were saying, the stable coins, how they're safe and stuff here. But what Sami was saying he was worried about is in the future, once all these exchanges get consolidated and there's only 4 or 5 or 6 of them left, they whitelist stuff on there. So if your wallet has interacted with stable coins on these other networks, or, you use these bridges over on these chains to move back and forth, you just can't trade on these other exchanges. So we're going to kind of be blocked out. But that's where it's on us to build these solutions, these on and off ramps ourselves, and do it. That's why, like, I respect you, bro. You're here, you've been building this entire time. And like guys like you and Rags and Vets and Hexray Vision, like there's a handful of just such good people, and they don't get
all solid guys. I know all those guys. I like all those guys. Yeah, and they're building. And you build in the bear, you build in the bull. Like it's kind of a lifestyle. But like it's not easy, and I wouldn't recommend it for most people. That's for sure.
Yeah, you got Gugat in here who's been building nonstop on Pulsechain, and it's like there needs to be a change in guard so the right people who are building stuff that's not going to rug you, scam you, whatever, they actually get in front of people. It's like it's just I don't know, man. It's been the whole Maddie thing's been really bummed me out. Like back in the day for the Hex tours, like I picked him up at the Albany event at the airport. We hung out at their Airbnb for multiple nights, went out to dinner, and like, and then he just blocks me out of the blue. It's like, bro, like, why are you being so petty? Like, I never did anything to you, and it's like that whole. It's just, it's not a good look, bro. And the good people here need to have the voices and have the platforms, not the old guard.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't think we should cancel the old guard, as you call it, or the OGs, right? Like, people make mistakes, but like, to me, it comes down to like when I'm asking myself, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? And I'm thinking on kind of a community level. It's like, okay, do we want to be right or do we want to win? And I think we want to win. Most of us, that's our plan. It's not about being right. It's about we want to win. So sometimes we just have to, suck it up and move on in the bull market, go back to throwing poo at each other in the bear market. That I really do think that's the play right now is, more unity than in the past.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, when I watched the PDI conference earlier, regardless if you think PDI is going to $1, you think it's a scam, the conversations that were being had there is what all of the conversations should be on Pulsechain. If people looked at us and that was the meta here, where it was 5 or 6 guys that are very well spoken, don't yell and scream at each other, talk over each other, and have productive, inspiring conversations, that shit, people like that, and they will tune back in. And
this is an entertainment industry. Like I know because you're fun to watch. Like if we're boring, if it's lame, if it's just some guy looking at an Excel spreadsheet, like nobody's going to want to watch, nobody's going to want to buy, right? So like, yeah, sometimes we need like light controversy and good conversation, right? That's totally fine. We don't always have to agree. We should not be giant dicks, but we don't have to agree with each other all the time.
exactly, yeah, exactly, bro. And as long as people can just disagree, but not be childs about it and scream and the blocking on Twitter and I blocked you and now I need to screenshot this and it's like, guys, just chill out.
I think sometimes there's like a sort of like just like how we have shakeouts, like in via price. I think sometimes there's a Twitter shakeout. I think Richard was doing a Twitter shakeout when he was blocking a bunch of people a little while ago. Those days will pass, right? Like we're gonna get to a point where everybody's holding hands and singing again. Green candles fix a lot of problems, not everything. Just like in real life, how money fixes a lot of problems. Not all the problems, but a lot of them. So I think we'll find that on Pulsechain soon enough.
Yeah, bro. And like this is how far out of the loop I was so fast. I thought his ink printer was actually a tax token that just paid you back ink. And then I was looking earlier and he's got 3 million ink locked up in this protocol. And he's, I think, what, 6% of the supply?
About there at 5-6%. Of course, ink's a little bit inflationary, though barely now that the inflation's turned down. So yeah, I think 3 million inks around the 5.5-6% mark. And of course, that's only worth $3 million and change right now. But like you 10x that number, you 100x that number, there's a lot of money locked in. Yeah. And then the ink dollar, you can see it says INCD supply. Like that's the ink dollar. That's what INCD is. So it's like, there's $600,000 worth of ink dollars, right? About half of that's in the stability pool. The other half's is in liquidity, basically.
No, yeah, bro. And like, this is like, I haven't been really doing much of the LP stuff on Pulsechain. Just kind of put myself into like PTGC and just some of the reflection tokens and just kind of, because it's so volatile that if you're getting the wrong pools, you get upside down on one side. I just had some bad experiences in the past. So I've been really exploring some options on Stellar. I found this one Phoenix DeFi hub, it was called, and it's got 100% APY. and the token is very stable. So I just, I throw a couple $100 in there, some new stuff on Flare, the liquid staking stuff that's coming. So I'm trying to learn how to find the right pairs to put pool together, or just the right pool to go into. That's not going to crush you on one side.
Yeah.
And I'm
What you're
learning.
talking about
So
is impermanent loss, right? Like you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
have
yeah,
minimal impermanent loss. And
yeah,
there are some tricks to that. So yeah, if you can get into liquid staking things, like on Pulse, we have there's 3 liquid staking forks, right? Like just like on Ethereum now, they have Lido DAO and Rocket Pool and stuff. We have those on Pulse chains. So you can pair those against each other, and there's some farming opportunities, and do fairly well.
yeah, exactly, bro. And that's what I'm gonna starting to get into, because I was in the Pulsex farm for a while, but then there was no point. Like once everything kind of hit the fan.
Yeah. And you weren't making fees because there was V1 farm. So yeah, once Inc was only like, paying 1% APR in those farms, it wasn't a big win. But that farming is like that quite often. Like if you really want to do well, like sometimes it's a bit of a game of musical chairs, right? Like if you see a farm that's paying whatever 16,000%, like it's not sustainable. It won't always pay that, and it gets diluted by volume, right? So the more people that go in, the more the APR goes down. So if a farm has $10,000 in it and you put $10,000 in it, then the APR will get cut in half, right? And
Yeah.
every time the volume doubles, APR gets cut in half.
Exactly, bro. And that's why a couple of these things that I found, they're like on Stellar, for example, like they never had DeFi on that chain. It was not, it's meant for payments. DeFi is not a priority over there. So it just came in the last year. So a couple protocols got grants from the development foundation. So they were able to, with those grants, boost up the yield pool. So they're paying about 100% APY, but it's only like a 12-month special before it's going to crater down to, whatever, 20%, whatever the norm is. So, it's a learning experience. And I just found Pulsechain, it's just so volatile. The coin, they move a lot up and down, like, and I don't like being in stuff that I'm not comfortable with. It's cool. It's fun to dabble and learn, but once you're just losing money, it's not fun. And I think I forget the name of the coins. Luke started one of them. Shocker, I think, was the name of one of them. Some stupid meme coin, and I paired them up with like PDI and a Tropa, and I didn't look at them. And I came back and I lost like 35% on both of those pools. So I ended up with a bunch more Shocker. I lost the coins I actually wanted, and it just puts a sour taste in your mouth. You're like, you know what? Screw this. I got my reflection coins. I'm done taking a loss. And
Yeah.
learn your
The
lesson, bro.
only things you can have zero impermanent loss on are things that are either equal to each other because they can more or less be exchanged for each other, like stable coins, right?
Yep.
Or like those liquid staking things I was talking about. So
Yeah.
it's, but there's other things that where you're going to have less impermanent loss just because they're so correlated. Like, for example, if you look at like just Richard Hart tokens paired against each other, they're not going to move exactly together, but they could move very closely together. Like Pulse to
Yeah.
Pulsex, like yeah, they over time you could see a 35% dip on one side or the other, but
Yeah.
like on the day to day, there's very little movement between like
Yeah.
Pulse and Pulsex, between even Ink and Pulse, right? Like it's lower risk to have things that are attached to each other at least by substantial liquidity. And yeah, there's definitely a couple examples of that on Pulse Chain, but those are the ones that will, like, you rarely will see the 10,000% APRs or the showy ones that people use to get you into those things on those low risk pairs, right? Because like Pulsekins, Hexkins are smart and they FOMOed into those things. You can see on your screen here that the PulseX Pulse pair, which is probably the safest one for low impermanent loss, like
Yeah.
was paying like 0.5% APR, right? Like it's
It's
safe, but like
yeah.
who cares, right? It's you might as well just hold at that point.
Yeah, there's the what is it? Um there's the liquid staking protocol on Pulse where you can swap your Pulse into that coin and it turns into the yield bearing asset of it, and you can swap back at any point. So it gains you like, I don't know, 4 or 5%. So
We
you're
have
better off just doing that.
yeah, we have the vouch protocol, right?
Yeah,
As
vouch.
that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's VPLS and then there's UPLS from the up community. They have one too, and then there's Project Pi. We have STPLS. So 3 of them.
That's what it was, bro. Project Pi. Yes, I had them on the channel. That's what it was. I kept thinking
Okay.
Super Stick Hex, but I was like, that's not Super Stick Hex,
That's a
obviously.
little different. That's okay too. But yeah, different game.
Yeah.
But we can see on these pairs here, the highest paying ones are the ones against stable coins right now.
Yeah.
And there's multiple reasons for that. One is that they have a higher boost, I believe, which is sort of like one of the buttons in the background that Richard can probably press. But also it's because they're they are higher in permanent loss. So, but if you were on your way out, you're like, okay, I'm looking to get out of some Pulse, but not all of it. Like going to one of those stable pool farms isn't bad. But if you think Pulse is going to 100x, well, for you, if you're in that farm, you only get a 50x because the other half turns into stables on the way up.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's my plan in the bear market is there's a juicy pool on Hedera. It's a USDC pool. I think last night it was like 12% or 11%. And obviously in the bear, it's going to come down. But even if you can get 6% in your stable coins, like I'm cool with that in a certain part of my portfolio. If there's nothing else out there, that's better. It's safe. You're not losing anything. And, but I really think, bro, I see it happening right now is the amount of DeFi projects that are being built and launching. This like stuff on Flare where you can bridge in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, all these non-smart contract projects. And now people that are just holding them, you can bridge them over there and start putting them to work and doing stuff with them. So I just think the whole DeFi boom that we saw in 2020 that I would say Richard Hart was pretty much responsible for. I think we're going to see that again, bro, in 2026. I really do. I think the DeFi 2.0 boom is going to come, but with privacy. That's the next level to this, where we can put in orders and limit orders and stuff where you can't get front ran or sandwich attacked or any of that. And I think that is going to be massive for just the industry and eliminating just so much of the nonsense. And it was so bad with Morpheus and the Titan X community with all the projects that were getting launched there. They were getting sniped to shit when they launched, and then all of them had buy and burns in there. And I'm starting to think now that they showed that buy and burn narrative so much because they knew they could front run them every single time and sandwich attack them. So all the buy and burns were getting nailed. So none of the money was actually going to buy and burn in the tokens. It was getting stolen. And that stuff can be
okay. I don't follow that stuff, so I had no idea. So they said it was a buy and burn, but it was really a buy and go to some guy's wallet.
No. The buy and burn was real. So every half an hour there would be like a $800 order that was buying and burning it, but somehow they would sandwich attack it, and like 40% of the money was actually going there, and it was a ton of money, and like these are your friends in the community allegedly.
Some of those things just come down to, like if there is an is something a scam, or is it an exploit, or is it just how the code works? And like that kind of sounds like just how the code worked. And like some guys, obviously, like the founders or people attached to a project are going to be more able to understand it. But like it sounds like anybody could have picked that money up off the ground. So it's there was just a lack of a randomization factor. And if the founder was doing it, like maybe that's not cool. But it sounds like DeFi still.
Yeah. So what happened was one of the early projects that launched, they launched like a development team that if you wanted to launch a project in the ecosystem, these are the guys to go to. So a bunch of projects went to them and kind of got the same code, same ideas pitched to them. So these guys knew all along the more projects that do this, we could just take advantage of. So it was a combination of not having, I don't know if the code could have fixed it or not, but the fact that the buy and burns were there every half hour, it just opened up that attack. And when you have it on multiple projects, it was just bad, bro. It's like, why? It's frustrating. It's disappointing, but it's a learning lesson that, you got to be careful.
Yeah. Sometimes stuff like that is the most decentralized way to do it. Perhaps you're like, okay, this happens every 30 minutes but it becomes predictable, or you can have it so that any user can initiate a burn, right? Like, so there could be a button where the user presses the button, and then obviously that user could know he was going to press the button and then front run it. Or like, so like the way to fix it can be to remove the decentralization and be like, yeah, only I can press the button, and I know when I'm going to press the button, and I'm not going to screw the community. So as long as whoever that person is trustworthy, it's a solution. But you lose the decentralization. And of course, you could go deeper into randomized things or trying to obscure it in some way. But like, like when you're talking serious money, there's smart guys who are looking for that stuff, right? It's like arbitrage to them.
Yeah, bro, and they were so good at blending
Yeah.
into the community, pretending to be good guys. We're here for you. Come, we'll help you launch. We've been through all the hard stuff, so we don't want to have you go through it. Just we'll walk you through it. It'll be so easy. And we took all the brunt of all the nonsense and the fudge. So for you, it'll just be a walk in the park. And bro, it was terrible. So you got to be
Yeah,
so
I know
careful
some
out in
guys
this
like
space.
it
Yeah,
happens.
it's everywhere, bro. It's
Wolves
in
in sheep
every single
clothing.
chain, everywhere. There's so few people that are here. They built a project and they know in time it'll do well. If it's a good project, has fundamentals, but there's certain people here that know what they're launching has no longevity to it, and it's a max extraction. So they have a certain amount of time to get out, pull as much out as possible, and run.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with that. There's also like, I tend to look at those things with like to try to see both sides. Like sometimes people do stuff and it doesn't work, right? Like they do an experiment, the experiment failed, no number went down, and then that happens too. But it's what they do after that really matters to me. Like I'll watch that guy be like, oh, he launched that thing didn't work. Oh, look, he talked about it. He talked about how it didn't work, and he launched another thing. Okay, well, that's the guy I want to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Coin glasses
assuming there
now.
was no scandal where they, like did something terrible, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't believe this, bro. They're now reporting 19 billion liquidated in the last 24 hours.
Oh man, so ridiculous.
Well, guy, if this doesn't free up and reset everything for us to start running, I don't know what in the hell will.
Yep. Richard did a post today. He says, where is it? Let me find it. Yeah, he was still bullish. Yeah. Want some
Yeah.
good news? I still think crypto is going to go up. Leverage
Yeah.
washouts are part of every bull market where people can take leverage. So it's like, this is just something that happened according to, a guy that's smarter than us.
Yep. Lady liquor leverage is how smart men go broke.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. I think I wrote drugs, degens, and dudes, drugs, and degens are how smart women go broke.
No, I think it's kind of reversed for women. That's
Yeah. But I mean,
But yeah,
yeah,
I've
bro.
been guilty of some of those things on occasion. Try minimizing them these days. There are
Yeah.
safer leverage plays, but like the people who got liquidated today, by and large, were doing like, the type of paper trading leverage on centralized exchanges where you're doing like 30x, 40x, 100x leverage, where you can get liquidated by like a 2% move, right? So
Mhm.
it's like it's risky business. Like like you could look at things that like give out loans against crypto as leverage as well, but like the ratio is typically in the 50% range. Like, oh, you put in $10,000 and you took out $5,000, like your risk is much lower, and liquidation usually doesn't mean you lost all your money. It just means you lost your position and paid some sort of penalty fee. So yeah, that I don't recommend that high risk leverage to anybody unless you're a pro. Most of the guys who think they're pros probably aren't.
No, bro, some of these coins, bro. I was just looking at that one coin because I saw it a bunch from the last month. This coin IP story. This thing
Okay,
was at $10, $14 last month, and today it was sitting at about $9. It dropped down to $1.16. Every single person that's in a long that has 1x leverage got freaking liquidated on this thing.
so it like all these coins like that were ones that had leverage options attached to them.
Yeah, so
Like,
people that came down and were like, "Oh, that in June they caught this dip at 250 and then it
Yeah.
starts running up, and once you're up to $8-9, you never think it's coming back down to 250 let
That's
alone
FOMO. That's
a
FOMO.
dollar
Yeah.
16, bro. So you're like, all right,
Yeah.
it's never coming down. So I'll set it at $2. And that's where every exchange, they see where the money is and it'll drop. All these coins had different lows on all the exchanges, depending on where the money was at.
Yeah. So there's probably some real opportunities on some of those leveraged tokens today. Even on Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you look at
Every,
those candles, right?
yeah,
Like it was an unnatural candle from unnatural events. Like Ethereum's like $3,800.
bro.
Like,
Sonic
you know,
hit 8 cents today.
really? Wow. That's
Yeah,
sounds like not a terrible deal. So,
bro.
yeah, we really didn't see that on Pulsechain, that which is why I didn't know right away. I was kind of like off and on checking the chart, be like, oh yeah. But then like, yeah, you pull up Ethereum, you're like $3,800. What, like, and you look at like the wider market, like they got destroyed.
I know, dude. Like PTGC's down 13%. Wrap
Yeah,
Bitcoin
right.
6,
Yeah.
Pulsex 1, 2, EHEX
Yeah.
8%.
Ink is up.
Yeah.
Like it's not terrible.
No, bro, really, it's not. I mean, bro, literally nothing, bro, got hit that hard. That's
Yep.
shocking to me, bro.
Like
That's
Ink is up 1% today. It's like a buck 31. I've been really impressed with it lately. Like there's a community there of these diamond-headed chads who like basically won't let it fall under like about a buck 25. It's almost like a buck 25 stable coin the last couple weeks. It's
yeah,
kind of wild considering, considering the narrative behind it. Yeah, they've just decided this is the one.
yep. This is, bro. This was the leverage flush, and it's just I just can't think that this was not orchestrated because of the ETFs that I just saw a thing today for like Canary Capital for 5 of their ETFs, like everything, the last thing that had to be signed or approved before launch just got signed off on today. So I wouldn't be surprised if next week I don't know if the government has to be back though and running for them to for the SEC to approve these. I don't think they're in a shutdown, they can do it. But
Are you guys still in a shutdown?
yeah, bro. It's still shut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can just stay shut down then. I haven't really noticed, much difference. Have you?
Nothing. Zero.
Okay, well, great. Well, you're probably saving a lot of money. Like, yeah, just
Bro,
stay with that.
shitloads of money. Yeah. It's a great thing. Stay shut down. Just open the SEC on an emergency presidential order.
Indeed. Yeah, to sign those papers. Yeah.
Yeah. But bro,
But that's interesting. I knew it was getting shut down, but I assumed it would be like a 24-hour thing and then they would, do what they're
no.
supposed to do.
Bro, it's
But
been a
yeah.
week
So,
already, I think. At least. I think it's been
oh,
almost at like 8 or 9 days now.
wow.
Yeah. That's how unimportant they are. And they say Washington, D.C. is like, well, besides where the shit is bad, it's like one of the most beautiful places to go because all of the government employees, all the Democrats, they all packed up and left. So it's they're all gone. So it's just like regular people, normal thinking people.
Why not?
Yeah, that's a good point too, bro. There I have not seen any spraying at all. Zero chemtrails the last week. So yeah, bro. So today I want to just talk about a little bit about the PDI conference today because even
Hit it.
though it was kind of if we were talking in the green room and like I've always been a believe what's the word? A hoper that PDI could get to $1 just because if we could have a decentralized stable coin that was immutable on our own chain, that is just it's priceless.
There's
It
four I can
basically
think of.
yeah. Well, if we can get if Richard Hart if we can get Richard to support them, that would be just
Sure.
as good.
Oh, yeah.
And if he took, decided to take them to the next level, that would be incredible. But and regardless if it happens or not, just
What's the
the
next level
whole
if they're already $1 though?
yeah. Yeah.
Man, they're all $1. Like what do we do? Um, yeah, I'm with you. Like, if
Richard
I like the narrative.
incentivizes people to stay on chain so they don't cash out and bridge out. If we can have a stable coin that has enough liquidity to where people can cash out and stay on chain, that's and be incentivized to do that, that's the next level. And they were talking today about What if the OA account was ran by an AI bot moving forward, or like the SAC wallet was ran by an AI bot that could scan the chain and see where money could be deployed in the best, most effective way and stuff like
Cool.
that. And
Yeah.
then we could have like a DAO or something where the whales on the chain or holders could vote for what they wanted to see the money, how they wanted to get deployed there. I don't know. It was just really cool to see.
I have a theory that like Ink or PulseX could one day be DAO tokens, right? It's actually in the code that they could be DAO tokens. So, and the obvious thing that you'd be voting on, there are two obvious things actually. One would be which LP pairs get to be a farm on PulseX, and the other would be what percentage of the daily Ink emissions go to that farm. That wouldn't be boring, right? You know, single-sided staking would be cool too, but I think, you know, with the DeFi stuff, that'd be where it's at. So this is you're looking at Tide now. This is in beta at the moment. It's a fork of Balancer V3-ish for the Pulsechain, done by the guys who do the Coast stablecoin. So this is a good home for stablecoins on the Pulsechain right now. You can see that top pool paying 12% APR. It has all of the liquidity forks on Pulsechain in it, right, as well as the Coast stablecoin. Like this is sort of an example of like, yeah, you could sell on Pulsechain at the top of the bull market, right? Which of course nobody knows when that's going to be, but then you could stay and you can make 12%, or the pool underneath that's currently paying 28% on stable coins, right? So I think this will be one of the main stablecoin hubs on Pulsechain. We also have the Flux Exchange with similar numbers. There's really good places for stablecoins on Pulsechain. Not to mention every single one of those liquidity forks has single-sided stablecoin staking built right into it. Let me check the numbers. So, yeah, Pulsechain is going to be like I would like us to be known as the stablecoin chain. Whether it was coming from PDI or other stablecoins, it's not a bad play. Like, yeah, on Inkprinter right now, 18.13% single-sided staking of a stablecoin. Could be worse.
That's good, bro. That is. Bro,
So
those
people can
crowdfund you out
you
of
can
here.
ride out a whole bear market making like 20-30%. You know, like if you think, you know, if you have good numbers, like 20-30% on $1 million, like, well, that's enough to live off of for most people.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to address this here. Well, there's a difference between fudding and when you have someone that's smarter than you and is building on the chain and can see what's going on the blockchain, where I would look at it and I'm a retard, so I'm clueless to it. So I never understood the mechanics of what was going on behind PDI. I was just reading stuff on X and just looking at it from afar. But when you have people that actually know what's going on, they can look at the contract, look at the code, and tell you, okay, there's a big problem here. I want to listen to that. I don't want to be given false hope down the future to where I'm like, oh man,
What
this
is
thing's
this
full.
Gentleman angry about? Is he mad because I, didn't
Probably
say
about
enough happy
PDI
things about
going to a
PDI? Okay,
PDI going to $1 or not going to $1.
that's fine.
You know, yeah, and like if there's no way it can ever get to $1, I want to know that so I can tell people that and actually let them know the truth. It's not going to affect me. I told everyone, I did it on stream. I trimmed down to 20% of my bags of PDI, Atropa, the stuff tied to it,
Yeah.
and
PDI could totally get to $1. Like that, I see there's no issue with it getting to the dollar apart from math, which is a pretty big thing to overcome. There's just no way for it to stay at $1. That's the issue. It's just not a stable coin. It has no code. That would be my concern. But as far as like, I hope it gets to $1,000 because yeah, the math would be great. You know, it would be good for the whole chain. But like, yeah, the narrative if it's going to get to $1 and stay at $1, like it's just not true. And I don't want people to be bag holders for that reason. But like, could it have a good run in this season? Like, sure, right? Could we see 10 cents, 30 cents, something like that? Like, yeah, that doesn't sound impossible. And if it does hit $1, you should sell right away.
yeah, and so is there any
Not
way
financial
that
advice. Do your own thing,
so
people.
yeah, yeah. So if it could technically get there, what would have to be done? Could somebody write a code for it or and fix it, or the fact that the contract is shut down, it's just dead forever?
Like it shut down, and the contract could be redeployed, like bought from the DAI team from Ethereum. They're not going to do that, and if they did, it wouldn't be decentralized, and it never was decentralized in the first place, because those guys have a bunch of admin keys and functions over there that they probably could have ported over, and they were holding all the MakerDAO that they probably could have shut it down earlier if they cared. Um, so like it, you know, that there's narrative after narrative there, but right now it's safe. Okay, so there was an exploit. The exploit is gone, right? Like because it's shut down and can never be turned back on. That's just how the MakerDAO system works for that particular function. So like it's like if you want to look at it as like a meme coin that's going to go up, or you think it's going to, you want to speculate on it. That's great. Like I encourage you to make your own decisions there. But like there's no way to turn that code back on. So you have a token. It could be any other token. So you could launch another token on pump.tires or whatever you want, call it whatever you want, and you could use that token inside another contract, but there wouldn't be there's no reasonable way to control the price of that token with a pegging mechanism in the same way, because you just have this loose token that it's in pools. Like you could make, you could do all kinds of buy and burn, this and that stuff, layer it on top of each other, and but like there's you would have to have a huge pool of money. Like the only reasonable way I can think of is like, okay, you have $1 billion worth of DAI, like from Ethereum or some other stable coin, that you use to auto buy PDAI every time it drops below $1. That would work, right? Up to $1, and then it stops buying it, and maybe even sells it after it goes over $1, right? So you could do it that way. If you have $1 billion, it would work.
So I heard Richard owes 15% of all the DAI in circulation. I don't know if that's true or not. That's the rumors
Like,
I had heard.
like DAI from Ethereum or PDAI?
Yeah. Yeah. DAI from Ethereum. Yeah.
Okay, maybe
So
at one point.
yeah,
Could
I
have been
don't
a thing.
know. Yeah, I don't know if it's true at all, but like I'm just, thinking if there's if that was possible to burn a bunch of the supply. I don't know. We'll see, guys. And that's the thing. Like if it we're here to make money at the end of the day. And if it starts to go up, we all got in super cheap. We make a little money and we see what happens. Who knows? Like someone could put out a new code, or like I don't know. I just was listening to the stream today, and the thing that I was like, that's what really has me questioned, because I don't think Maria is a bad actor. I really don't. I don't think if you were a scammer trying to extract, you would come back and keep building in the ecosystem. It's kind of odd. So something doesn't add up over there.
I'm with you on the odd, to be sure.
Yeah. So something's not, and the fact that all of that P diatropa pair is so big that it pretty much solidifies itself as, if Pulsechain is successful, it's successful. If Pulsechain dies, it dies, because that liquidity pool is so big because of Hart's law. I just don't know why that was created.
I heard a rumor that, like, well, Maria obviously got in extremely early. I heard a rumor that Maria made the mistake of thinking PDAI, and this is the earliest days, like the first days of the pulse chain, that PDAI was actual DAI, and made massive swaps into it, and then ended up being a huge bag holder. And I can neither confirm nor deny that, but that was the rumor. So it's like, and then felt incentivized to build on top of it and
Yep.
attach it to the Atropa
To what he
ecosystem.
was doing. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Because why not? If you got it cheap enough and there was a potential, I mean,
Yeah,
shit, what do you have to lose? But
but
I feel
like
like
it's
if that went bad though, and you burnt that pool's burnt right there, so it can't. I don't think he can take anything out of it. So why would you burn it unless you almost? I don't know. Unless you knew.
a lot of people do that, right? Like burn, like a lot of founders will burn liquidity. I haven't done much like this because it put like there's obviously huge downsides, like we've seen here, but like you burn liquidity on like a meme coin project to give confidence to your audience, right? So, but if you had something like PDAI, or anything really that you bought en masse that you couldn't sell because there wasn't enough liquidity for you to sell into, you could add it as liquidity against your own token, and it would, like, it looks good on paper, right? So, I'm sure that was part of the play, but yeah, like
Like
clearly
there's
that person is building and has done stuff. I haven't been watching too closely. It seems like quite the maze of things that they're engaging with.
Bro, dude, it's a complete maze, and I just tapped out. I just bought some Atropa, bought some Affection, and I'm just watching. But I'm like, bro, there's $35 million in liquidity in this pool. Like,
Right. But try to extract that liquidity, right? So like if you go to
yeah,
sell like $35 million worth of Tropa, right? Like you
oh
won't end
yeah,
up with $35
right.
million because the other side of it's going to PDI, then from PDI it's got to go into Pulse, and then Pulse is going to go into DI. So like you might get 300K out of there or something.
You don't feel like Atropa is like a backbone to what's being built in the ecosystem?
No, I don't. Though, like I'm not. I don't consider myself an expert. I've never done more than a summary check of like, okay, this looks like it has minting options. Not on a trope. I remember looking at like Treasury bill or something and being concerned.
Yeah, yep. That was one
But
that had a definitely, yeah, there were some weird mint functions and stuff going
like
on
they're all
there.
connected in this weird liquidity web, right? So,
Mhm.
but like Atropa seems to be like the most stable of them. So, like it's if you want to speculate, Wolf talks about Atropa all the time. Like he speculates on it. I think that's fine. If
Yeah.
that's what you're into, I don't believe it has any malicious functions. There was that whole day where Maria was did a 5 hour live stream of dumping his own tokens and then bridging out.
Yeah,
Apparently, it
I
came
was
back.
there.
So
I was in that live stream, and bro, it did not feel organic at all. Like if you were truly panicking, some of the stuff he was doing and saying, it would never cross your mind at that point. If you truly thought everything was going to shit, you would not be concerned about freaking Teddy Bear's future. You wouldn't be concerned about some of the stuff he was saying at all. It wouldn't even be on your mind right now. You would be full porting everything.
So
And
look at this. I'm doing this on Pulsechain. So I've put a Tropa to die from Ethereum, right? And I'm putting in a stupid amount of Atropa, $73 million of Atropa. And I can make that number as big as I want. $731 million of Atropa will allow me to extract $73,000 worth of DAI from Ethereum.
it's a Tropa P die.
Oh, I know, but like, let's
Oh
say
yeah,
I want to
yeah. Although
I want to actually cash out. So I
yeah,
want to move to
true.
DAI from Ethereum, right? Or any other stable coin, right? USDC, what have you. I can only get like the max amount any person can get out, no matter how many tokens they hold, despite that $34 million pool you're looking at is $73,000. That's how
But
much that's how much
could it?
money's really there.
Yeah. Well, what if you went to Rat Pulse? There's 1.6. Oh no, never mind. It's 1.6K. Oh shit. Yeah. Yep.
So like it's like so when you
All
look
in.
that's what we were talking about with like
Yeah.
that burnt liquidity against PDI, it looks good on the screen, right?
Yeah.
But it has
There's
to
more.
flow from one. And certainly if I was crafty and I took some time, you'd be able to get more than that out of it by selling some here and some here and some here. And there's better ways to exit like something you're a big holder of than dumping the chart, right? I don't encourage anybody to do that. You can exit via V3 liquidity, you can do all kinds of more crafty things than dumping the chart to zero. But like if somebody did dump all their Atropa and they had a huge amount, they could only get $73,000 out in one go. And
Yeah.
and
Yep.
you'd have a giant green candle, a red candle rather, not just on Atropa, but also on PDI.
Yeah. Yep.
Or maybe not. I'd have to think about that.
Where
PDI may,
was it? Hold on. My
but
bad.
PDI would
There's
probably bounce through
a
that.
comment. Oh, this is what I wanted to ask you. Recommendations for where to set limit orders.
Where the Pulsechain is distinctly missing really good limit order options right now. There's no one DEX I could point you to set a limit order. Probably the best tool for limit orders is there's the Solid X Trader bot put out by the Firewhale, like the Solid X guy. He paid a lot of money for it, right? Like so that it could be used on Pulsechain. It has really small fees. You can basically use it to set limit orders. You can use it to do, all kinds of things. But like it forces you to generate a new wallet address. So you're not using one of your private keys, which is a good security feature. And you can use it to set limit orders to sell something, which is great. And then you can, and then I would encourage you to remove the funds from that wallet immediately. Like just use that as an in and out, and don't, like with your main wallets. But yeah, Solid X Trader bot. Make be real careful. You find the right one, guys. Go to the SolidX Telegram chat. I'm in a min there. I don't work for him. He doesn't pay me, but like that's it's just seems to be the best tool available right now. The other reasonable option for people who I have two other ones actually. For people who want to, kind of more or less set a limit order, is you can do V3 liquidity, right? Which you can do on 9-inch or on 9mm on Pulsechain. Both have V3 liquidity, and you can set in a higher range than the current price. So let's say like you think hex is going to $1, you can set liquidity between $1 and $2 for hex. And when it goes into that range, you're effectively selling out. And then you can pull your liquidity, and now you get to keep what's on the other side. So that's an option. A little more advanced. You have to do your own homework there, and you need to be very careful going into a V3 pool for the first time if the pool has not been created by someone else, or if the pool's not active. I recommend everybody put in $10 first and see what happens. Like, don't FOMO your whole bag into a V3 liquidity until you understand completely what's going on. The next one would be there's 0x Bistro by the Magic Carpet guys. That's an OTC exchange that works great, where you can basically, your OTC stands for over the counter. It's like you're selling it off chain, peer to peer, right? You put up your bag, someone else can buy it. You can set whatever price you want. So if you think hex is going to be $1, you can put your hex up there for $1. And when it hits $1.10, you better bet that somebody's running in and buying your hex off there so they can sell to make that 10-cent arbitrage. So yeah, those are three reasonable options right now. I suspect that we will see limit orders on Pulsechain at some point in time. I think it was left out on purpose. It's an obvious feature, and it was left out because because Richard doesn't want people auto selling down the price if he's planning on pumping the price. But I think when we get closer to either the top of the bull market or into the bear market, that feature will suddenly appear with almost no announcement.
Yeah, and I know switch.win. I
Okay.
believe I think they're working right now, bro. The limit orders on here. I want to say they are, but I think they are on ETH. But I talked to Brandon today. I should know this, but I'm pretty sure, bro, they're very close. So definitely check switch.win. These aren't working now, it's coming very, very soon. That's been something
And
that has
they're
been
a DEX aggregator too, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So if you have DEX aggregated limit orders, that's another level of complexity. So it might take those guys a little bit longer than it
Yeah.
would for any single DEX to do the same job. But the results could be fantastic because you could really get the most orders fulfilled if it's able to connect to your DEX aggregator, and your limit orders getting filled in, from 5 different places at the same time. That'd be great.
Yeah. And they have he's got base on here, Ethereum, and Pulsechain. And like again, Brandon Rags, he's one of the good guys in the space. And from now on, that's all I'm gonna have on the channel are people that I know that are here in the space, that are trustworthy, that are building. And it's good to see. And like what I would love to see is KG and Internet Money Wallet integrate Switch into their Internet Money Wallet. Because I was looking at it earlier and I didn't even realize how much he's putting there, bro. He's got Flare on there. He's got XDC network on there. He's got almost every blockchain in that wallet. So he's got cross-chain swaps in there. So I think I want to have KG on a stream in the near future, because I was so impressed when I opened the wallet today and looked, because it's been a while since I looked at Internet Money. So
it basically has its own DEX aggregator built into it as well. It wouldn't work quite
I
the
think they
same as
use
this.
Cow Swap or 1inch that he's got plugged into it. I forget which one.
Yeah, I think it's closer to 1inch, I think, in the concept. But yeah, you can basically make trades right inside the wallet, and then it's using the fees from those trades to go to the holders. You don't even have to stake it, of the time token. So it's
Yeah.
a novel system that they have set up on multiple chains. I think those are two great examples. So we have KG from Money, and we have Brandon from or AKA Rags to Riches from Build the Tech. Like, those are two guys I've known for a long time, that I totally trust. That they're completely reasonable, they're smart, they care, and they show up for work every day. That's a really short list on the Pulse chain right now. So yeah, if you're gonna have guys on the screen, I definitely recommend those two any day.
Yeah, definitely. I talked to Rags earlier, and he had good things to say about you too, which that was good to hear because he's he's only he's got a shorter list of people that he's trust now because man, bro, I'm telling you, the last year and a half has been eye opening for me, and how many people here just truly want to just max extract, will tell you whatever they want, and just I don't know, man. It was just disappointing, but you live and you
Yeah,
learn and you do
yeah.
better and you build better.
There's been some bad days, hasn't there?
Yeah. But then there's awesome days, bro. So like
Totally.
just to that PDI conference today. I'm telling you guys, if you guys didn't watch any of that, go listen. Even regardless of the PDI stuff, listening to Bud P talk about allodial title and how Pulsechain is literally the last opportunity for us to be able to own anything. Because you own your house, don't pay tax on it for 4 years and see what happens. Don't put car insurance on your car and drive around. See what happens. They can confiscate anything from you at any point. Literally, like anything you own can get confiscated for evidence or for whatever nonsense reason. So allodial title, I've been learning about it, and it really is the next level, the way to truly own stuff. And if we can get super smart people out here spreading the message, it's contagious. And there's just so much potential in this community. The IQ level on Pulsechain is higher than any community I've been in before. You can't even
Totally
compare it.
true. And I think we need to that's one of the reasons I really want to get on the screen with you is because you have like you have a multi-chain connection. Like you reach outside the echo chamber, right? And I've been really trying to do that more. And I think more people from Pulse Chain should reach outside because like the level of DeFi knowledge of the average Pulse Chain user is like compared to the average Solana user is like 10x, right? So like, like half of us could be celebrities on other on other chains and then bring those people to Pulse Chain showing them what we know. Like we have the knowledge and we can share it. I think you're muted there, sir.
It is eye opening when you go into other communities and you just start talking. I was in that space when you were in with Crypto Empire or something, Crypto
Empress.
Empress.
Crypto
Yeah,
Empress.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
she's great.
that was such a good space, bro. Just the fact that they're willing to give you an ear when you say Hex. They're not like, oh, Hex, boot them off stage. It's like,
Totally. Yeah, like she did that space for Pulse Chain. The reason she did it is because I'd been appearing for several weeks on her regular space, like basically as the tech guy, right? And I was like, assigning them homework. The next week we're going to look at this, and like every Monday I do that on her private space, and I started doing it on her public space on Thursdays as well. And then I slip in little things about the Pulse chain, like and what I'm doing on the Pulse chain, and so on and so forth, and talk about Hex, talk about Pulse, and she totally accepts it, and the audience totally accepts it. So you just need to get out there into that space and like we can reach these other communities if we can if we can just be pleasant and presentable and show up for work.
exactly, bro. That's what it is. Like, shout out to my man Samson here. He's one of my cubic boys. And that's what you do, bro. You make a relationship with someone, we both like cubic. And now that we're friendly, there's a much better chance he'll say, oh, these guys are talking about Pulse Chain. We like cubic, maybe I'll look into it. It's so much easier to onboard people when you have a relationship with them and you can find common ground elsewhere and then pitch them on this. Or, you find common ground in a different project or community, and then there's something that person doesn't like, or there's something that they wish they had. And it's like, oh, well, we actually have that over here. Or if you came over here, you'd see that actually exists. And people don't understand that. We are 6 months ahead of every other community out there in DeFi and just using blockchain.
Yeah, our understanding is far above the when I think about onboarding, I've started thinking about it differently. Like when I hunt for people to onboard, like I'm not going to onboard my neighbor. Like I will if he asks. I'll tell him whatever he wants to know. I'll spend as much time as he wants. But like I'm looking for influencers with 100,000 followers. That's who I want to onboard, right? Or I'm looking for protocols, and this would be one that you are great for because all your relationships. Some of these protocols on other chains where you interact with the founders, right? Like if they're reputable and they're legit, like maybe those guys could come launch the same thing on Pulsechain, right? Like if they have some
Yeah.
unique tech. And sometimes it's a big deal, right? It'd be a lot of work, it costs a lot of money. Sometimes it's a dev flipping a switch. Like if they're already on an EVM chain, they're like, oh, sure, yeah, we'll enable Pulsechain. Chain 369, yeah, I dropped that in the code, it's on. So like, yeah, those relationships are huge and can really pay off. And we've seen that through various communities on the Pulsechain where they brought things over. We have a new bridge on Pulsechain. There's the hyperlink bridge that the Hexco guys, basically negotiated that deal. We have like a new stable coin like USDC from Hyperlink that's redeemable on other chains. That's like it's just USDC. Like there's nothing special about it, but it comes over another bridge. Like we have another bridge with zero fees to Pulsechain because those guys took the time to interact outside the community and bring somebody in. So like
Yep.
yeah, the work you do with these other founders is important. And I think we need more guys like you, like Charlie and Miguel, that have that cross-chain contact list.
Yeah. And bro, the sad thing is back when I started the channel, I went around to all of the Hex OGs and streamers back in the day that were doing the first conferences, and every one of them that I told them, I want to start streaming, but I don't want to talk about just Hex. I want to talk about the best projects in crypto, and then, find common ground with people and then bring them in. And every one of them was like, dude, that's a great idea. Go for it. And then once I started, it was like, hey, bro, you want to come on stream? And it was like nobody wanted to come over because they knew I was talking about other stuff. So I wasn't a true Hexagon. And it was crazy. It's like, bro, you told me to do this and now you're giving me shit for it. It's like, what is
Maybe
this?
they personally thought it was a good idea, but they were scared of their audience's reaction to them being on a non-hex stream, right? Because like I remember in the early days, like I'm the new guy, right? Like I'm not Hex day one OG, right? Like, I came in with the Pulsechain sacrifice like a lot of other people, and instead of sitting on my hands, I started working, right? But like the original thing was like Hex good, everything else bad. And then there's even was a pushback for like, okay, Richard Hart made Hex on Pulsechain. No, the old Hex is better. Like there's, and you still get some of that sometimes. And then it goes on to, only Richard Hart coins are good. And then now people branch outside of that, right? But it's much softer now than it was 2 years ago, right? Like it went from Hex to, okay, Hex, PulseX, Inc., etc. But now, now we have Richard Hart launch Pump.Tires. He launched like 22 coins on day one of that I could kind of say are Richard Hart coins, or at least Richard Hart adjacent. And then we have all these projects built on top of Richard Hart coins, like my ink printer project. That's like a stable coin that uses inks as collateral, for example. And there's 3 others like that on Pulsechain. So people have opened up. So I think you're going to get a better reception now. Those same guys, I think, are going to stream with you.
Yeah. It definitely has been better now because they kind of see too that like I think at first they didn't believe I really was that passionate about this community, the Hex Pulsechain community. It was kind of just like, an afterthought, but it was the thing that I was most bullish on last cycle. It made us all the most money. We found it super early, and Richard is one of a kind, man. You just, at some point when you watch hundreds of hours of his streams, I believe him, man. I believe that he truly wants glory. He wants his name to be recognized. He wants to truly help people, but it's tough to do. You can't please everyone, and he's different, bro. He is a very petty, very egotistical person, and sometimes that gets in the way of him getting to the next level. He's his worst own enemy sometimes. But at
I
the end
wonder
of
sometimes, like, is that what he wants you to think? Right?
so
Is this the public image that he's presented on purpose, and that's how you've translated it? Like, he's pretty smart, right? He understands
Mhm.
people fairly well, And like he's, like we know the whole twerking episode, not humble Richard was like an on purpose get attention weird shakeout thing that kind of worked. Um, and but the last, like the last 6 to 8 months, like we've seen pretty different responses. Still arrogant, I think arrogant on purpose. Though if you were a genius, probably other people are pretty annoying. Maybe he's just annoyed some days.
Yeah. So I in 2022,
Yeah,
I was because Richard was putting out messages saying, "Hey, if anyone in the community," he was trying to get in touch with billionaires. He was like, "If anyone knows billionaires, get in touch with me. Anyone works with them." So I was working with a guy down in Atlanta who's a
yeah,
billionaire. My best friend was his golf coach, so he heard me and him talking about crypto and was like, "Wait, what crypto?" So I started talking to him, and he was hooked. And I reached out to Funding Jim, and he was like kind of vetted Richard. So we got on a call with my guy, and
nice.
Gary, actually, one of Gary's friends actually knew him. So I started hitting it off. And then
Yeah,
2 minutes later, Richard pops on the call. And I'm
yeah,
like, well, holy shit. Like, what the hell? Richard's here now. It was never supposed to be Richard. It was supposed to be me, Funding Jim, and this guy. So it
yeah.
turned into one of his other partners, Richard and Gary. And I'm like, all right, like here's Richard. He's got a billionaire on here. And these guys are professional. Like they don't cuss. They're wearing full
Oh yeah,
suit.
no, Gary's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I've talked to him.
So I'm like, all right, like this is gonna be like a different side of Richard Hart that I get to see that no one else has ever seen before. And sure enough, you could have clipped him on a stream going on a rant. You could have clipped him pissed off at someone. He was the same exact person. He didn't even care if he was pissing him off, offended him, pushing too far. He asked him a question about, why is Hex better than I don't know, like CDs or whatever money markets, and he was like,
Sure.
honestly, my fake internet money is better than the government's fake internet money. And like just some of the stuff he was saying was just like, dude, that's not what this guy wants to hear. And like he didn't change his tune at all. He didn't adjust or kind of like feel him. He did not give a fuck, bro. He was himself. He answered the questions however he wanted to. And I kind of was, I sat back and was like, man, like, why, if he was really interested in onboarding these people, why wouldn't you act a little differently? And I guess
Good
he just
question.
doesn't care, bro. He's got everything. He's rich as fuck. He's like, I think he's so smart. He's like, look, if you don't see it, I'm explaining it to you. If you don't get it, you're a dumbass. Get out of here. I don't care. And
If you don't want to buy a pen, get the fuck out. Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's from which movie was that from? Can't remember. But yeah, there's a certain honor in that style. It's probably not how I would do it. I imagine I would be a little more flexible with billionaires,
Right.
but like I totally get like the not kissing billionaire ass. Like I totally buy into that. Like I'm unwilling to. I get lots of guys who want to talk to me, who want me to, kiss their ass, do what they want, and like yeah, and like it doesn't go that far, right? Like yeah, you get an extra 15 minutes of like private talking time if you have $1 billion, but like yeah, I'm not going to screw other people because of you. And I imagine Richard has a similar outlook on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just like, I just was expecting like to see a very cleaned up, polished Richard. And it was the same
Interesting.
old
Yeah.
vile, vulgar Richard. Oh, it was funny. It's yeah, bro. What do you think? So we saw what 20 something million that moved out of the sack wallet, and all
Yeah.
along with this marketing tablet effort, I've
Yeah.
been, a little bit suspicious of uh of what's going on. And when he put out a tweet about how he spent like $10.5 million or something on half the devices, so the total amount would equate to the exact amount pulled out of the sack wallets. So almost like, obviously this money was being used for these expensive tablets that are getting mailed out.
I
So
think
I
I
don't
think
know.
you read that tweet wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what he was getting to is that these things have a retail value of $15 each, right? He did not pay $15 each,
Hell
right?
no.
So like, and I've looked it up, you know, on like I've done a lot of like mass ordering in my previous life of things like ordering containers from China and stuff like that. And like he paid, these things were less than $1,
Oh
right?
yeah,
For sure.
for
So, but
sure.
like in that tweet, he was illustrating that these things have a $15 retail value, which would be any, and 700,000 of them are coming in, which would be like $10 million worth, right? Like that was the nature of the tweet. But for sure that was not where that money went. No, I don't know that for sure, but like I'm fairly comfortable that that's not the
He
case
could have
because
overpaid by accident and signed an invoice that he didn't realize. You know, shit happens.
I don't think so. And like to get like it says there's 700,000 coming in containers. That means those things were ordered like 4 or 5 months ago, right? Like, you know, it takes a lot, like it takes time for them to come across the ocean, it takes time to manufacture them. Like it wasn't something that happened yesterday, right? Or at the time when that money came out, right? Like they all would have been bought and paid for, the 700,000 he's talking about. But I've been to the, you know, the place where that happens. I've helped unload the truck, right? Like they're real, right? And there's lots of them, and they keep coming. Containers of these things keep showing up. I think from things Richard said in the past that there's going to be 10 million of these things that come out and that get distributed. Like massive, never before seen marketing is how he coined it in the past. I really do think it's going to be that. Like there's only been like, I don't know, 100K of them that have gone out. It's not that big a deal. But like you turn that number to 10 million, like it's kind of a big deal. And from the just the small amount that have gone out, there's been noticeable social effects. Like we have crypto influencers talking about posting pictures. I did an interview with a lady named Kim Tran the other day who received one, and like, you know, like she talks about it lots now. And she was a great like test example of a potential customer. And then of course, you know, if green candles went along with these things as part of the marketing, that would
Mhm.
probably increase their effectiveness, which
Yes.
I think could be a thing. And like you saw the 5,401 ETH came out like just this last week, right? If you go back to April, there was another 4,200 ETH that came out, right? So like and they go into tornado cash. We don't know where they are, but like there's been a bunch of funds bridge the chain. Like it's like there's various speculation, but like that's like 9,600 ETH worth, right? That's come out of there. That, you know, I would strongly suspect it's about $43 million. Like to put a number on it, right? It's a lot of money, and like $43 million into Pulsechain, into any of the core tokens really, at their current prices does substantial, very, very interesting things to the price. I did a test the other day, like just on Pulse. If 25 million went into just Pulse, you end up with a 17.7x on all four core tokens, actually, because they're all connected with liquidity via Hart's law, right? They all go up together. Not to mention
Mhm.
every meme coin, even the stable coins on a day where $25 million went in, you'd have a bunch of $1.10 stable coins on Pulse Chain. Like it would, you know, like it will pump the price of many, many things if that money does get injected to the chain.
Yeah. And bro, honestly, I would not be surprised if a majority of it sat. Like I hope I don't want him to use a majority of it this cycle because there's still too many people that made 15-year stakes early on that need
Yeah.
to be able to EES them in like 2028-ish or 2027-ish. So I would be surprised if he didn't hold a lot of that for the next cycle when he can really start to get a lot of the older original guys that have zero plan of being here out.
With you. But like there's, you know, 15 years from now is a long time, right? We start to
Oh
look at
yeah.
quattro cinco stakes, right? So like, you know, I think if there can be momentum, because like for like whatever, there's $750 million there. If that all went to pump the chain tomorrow, then okay, obviously everybody who has and just about anything on Pulse is going to be really happy, right? I'll make a big number, and then there'll be a giant red candle like you've never seen before. Still probably end up being at a decent range compared to what it is now, but but I don't think that's the play. But like there could be a play where it's pumped over time, right? Where sellers are punished basically, and they decide to FOMO back in at a higher price. You know, and Richard understands these human components very well, and
Yeah.
it won't be what you expect when you expect. But I think in the end, people will be happy with it.
Yeah, bro. His whole I look at it like this. If he wants to have Pulsechain be successful and he plans on coming back and being like on social media, doing interviews with Crypto Banter, going on Ivan's streams, I'd imagine he's going to do that. And he cannot come out and start doing a social media tour if eHex is down in the shit and it's down 80% or 60% while Pulsechain is pumping. The first thing he's going to get is, so you launch this new project and you can't figure out how to make your first project successful. It's still like, that would be a horrible
There's a
look.
counter for that though. Like
I just
everybody
can't
who was
see
in
him.
EHX got a copy on Pulsechain. So he
Yeah,
already replaced them. So like if you were a Hexacan before Pulsechain launched, and you had Hex and you have even if it was staked, you have copies, exact copies of exactly what you have on Pulsechain, right? So like for him to leave EX behind, like it's like I understand why some people wouldn't like that, and like I don't think it should do terribly. I think even by nature of what it is, it would do fine if Pulsechain Hex did fine. And because of the bond of liquidity, there's actually a pretty big pool, maybe $2 million worth of PHEX paired to EHEX. They're going to pull each other up,
exactly.
or down. But like he's taking care of the people. Like if he just pumped PHEX and he never touched EHEX, he's taking care of the original people who had EHEX. Anybody else who came along and chose to buy EHEX versus PHEX, not his same responsibility, right?
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. I just feel like that's his baby. And
It was the firstborn son. I'll give you
yeah.
that. But he's cloned that son. He now has another
Yeah,
version of
that's
the same
true.
son.
And did you know that ETH hit $700 a transaction today?
Ooh, I did not. But yeah, I believe you because craziness.
So that to me right there shows it's going to be the same shit again on Ethereum once the market starts picking up again. And if that's the case, bro, you can't unstake a stake on Ethereum anymore. Like it really does become unusable. So if we go another cycle with the ETH gas fees being like this, I could then see him and the community saying, you know what, guys, Ethereum is just it's unusable. We need to just say enough is enough with it and migrate over. I think that could be a way to do it, but I think they're going to just both live on forever, bro. I honestly do.
Well, it's immutable code. It will definitively,
Yeah.
like, as long as there's an Ethereum, like there will always be,
Yeah.
Hex on Ethereum. In fact, there's still Hex on ETHW, ETH proof of work chain, and even Ethereum Fair, though I think it's called something else now. Like they still exist because the
Yeah.
code will never go away. Like literally, and they're not worth zero. Like Hex on ETHW that nobody talks about. Like it was a thing for like a week. It's still like it's like 10x away or something like that from catching EHEX right now. Whereas at ETHW, it needs about a 15x. It'll be the same price as EHEX.
That's I remember those days when everyone was going nuts. And the second I found out, I went on to ETH Fair and ETHW and emergency end staked every single stake I had. And
that was probably the play. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I got like $8 ETHW for him. And I don't know what it is now, but that was so funny because I was thinking, I'm like, man, we're really talking about ETH Fair and ETHW. I get it because nothing's going on, but when Pulsechain launches and there's so much better stuff out there, is anybody gonna care about this crap? And I just don't. I don't think so. You think you think people will bring it back to life and make it a thing?
Well, well, there's a couple different ways it could happen. Right? I can think about if I decided I wanted to work on that, I would bridge it to Pulsechain, right? If you built a bridge and moved it, which like because of the crappy nature of those chains, it would be hard and it would cost a bunch of money. But if you built a bridge and bridged it to Pulsechain, it would you could reunite the hexes, which would be hilarious. The other thing is just like if we get to like altcoin bull market time, like if everything's going crazy, be like, yeah, I bet you I bet you ETHW and things on ETHW will still do fine, like relative to their current price. But
right.
It's a riskier play than Pulsechain or Ethereum Hex or anything on Pulsechain or Ethereum.
Yeah,
Real,
that's
right?
what I mean. There's so many better opportunities and cool coins that are being slept on right now. They're going to explode on Pulsechain. I just feel like it'll be forgotten about until the next bear market or something. But we'll see. You know, someone honestly, no, someone's going to do that. Someone will be bridge it over just for the publicity or just for a laugh or something.
Yeah, but I'm not pushing people towards these at all. Like that's not, you know, I don't recommend these, but I think it's a good illustration that hex will carry on, right?
Yes.
Regardless, like it's immutable code, meaning the code can never be changed. Wherever it is, it's going to stay, and it will do what it's supposed to do, right? Which is not about price; it's more about time, right? So like it's, you know, like if you're trying to accumulate more hex, if you want to do it over there, it would work mostly the same as doing it over here, right? Like so. But like that's where like hex on Ethereum, which I think is a more reasonable thing to look at than hex on ETH or other sketchy things. Like yeah, it's never going away. It's never going to zero, and it's always going to work. The website hex.com gives you access to both. Right? There's multiple front ends by third parties. Like you know, this stuff is legit.
Yeah, I heard something that Alex was working on Hedron and Icosa again, and had something planned for, you know, the near future, which if that was the case, that'd be pretty cool.
It would be. He's been relatively silent unless you've heard something real recent that I haven't. Like yeah, he's talked about that. Like you know, Icosa V2 is very much live. He's working on it, but like it's really hard to guesstimate what it is. But yeah, I think now would be a great time for Alex to come back. He's a smart guy. He has good ideas. You know, Icosa had a great run. It doesn't, you know, then those front ends are actually great alternate front ends for staking your hex and doing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And uh, the ability to make movable hex stakes that are basically an NFT is awesome. You know,
Yes.
it's fantastic tech that's actually used by multiple protocols now. So yeah, like he did a lot for the chain, but like yeah, I would really like to see the next piece of Icosa.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. On the PDI conference, they were talking about what if there was a way that you could wrap all the 15-year stakes and encapsulate them and somehow pull out PDI or some other asset against them, where you took it and you put it somewhere, locked it for 15 years, and you could extract some of that liquidity now. And I thought that could be something cool.
Well, Icosa was kind of that, right? Because you could basically, in the form of Hedron, take a loan against your staked hex. Native stakes, like hex that's already been staked, can never be removed from that wallet, right? So you have to be making a new stake to encapsulate it inside what they call it an HSI, which is a movable NFT. And if somebody wanted to set up a lending protocol where you could borrow against that in another way, like even for stable coins or what have you, they certainly could. But it's not it's probably not what the market would accept. We have the two things right now. We have Icosa, and there's another one that's a bit of a deep dive, but it's called the actuator protocol. That's sort of creates like a bond market out of hex stakes, right? Where you can like price out, this is hex that's coming due in 3,000 days. This is hex that's coming due in 5,000 days. And it'll be like a bond market type price for what the future value of hex is that you can take right now.
That's
So
way
there
better.
is, it is. It's just you seem to have some understanding of traditional finances, so like you might want to take a look at that because it is like a very novel but very close to traditional finance way to deal with long-term hex staking that would play into that. But as far as like existing hex stakes, like yeah, there's no way that
No, I misspoke. It wasn't existing hex stakes. It was new stakes that were made that would be encapsulated. Okay. That's what I misspoke. As soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, what am I talking about? You can't go back to a state that's already there. But no, it was people that were making new stakes and they could encapsulate them. And if they made a 15-year stake, they now would have the ability to pull out equity on there or something out of it, before the 15 years, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. But I really think staking is kind of a thing of the past. What I think it's important for is just for people saving them from themselves, where people lock it up so they know they can't sell it or do something stupid. That's what I think the most valuable thing about staking is right now, because the liquid staking that is out now, where half these coins that on these other chains, where as soon as I buy it and put it in my wallet, I don't have to do anything and I just start earning like that. That's the future of where stuff's going. So hex staking. I feel like just locking something up for 15 years, not being able to touch it, that's kind of becoming a thing of the past. So I feel like it's going to start to evolve.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there will be more and more built on top to, make the tech cooler. But having a base of immutable code that can't be changed is an important part of something like that, right? Where it's like, you have guaranteed features and results that are, tested over, a long period of time that other people can build on top of. Nobody wants to build on top of code that is like could be changed by the dev at any second. But like, yeah, some things like Hex, for example, with immutable code are great for that.
Yeah. Yep. And bro, Richard, I don't know how people can't just let him have some time to cook. Look at how long it took Ethereum from 2016 to get to where it was in 2020, 21. It was 5 years of not the best times. And I just look at where the Pulsechain community is now from when we launched to 3 years, 4 years in. I feel like we have such a bigger community. We have a fantastic chain. We have the privacy narrative that is going to be really big moving forward. We're really the last chance for pure decentralized crypto, a allodial title of your stuff. So we have the infrastructure and the potential here. It's now on Richard and all of us to keep building awesome products, getting people over here, and just kind of spreading the word, man. It's one of the best opportunities in crypto, and not even that, but just to uplift humanity and not become a slave to a CBD system or a digital ID system. Like, we have a small window where we can get ourselves out of the upcoming hell that could potentially be coming.
Good concept. I don't know. I'm not one of the people that really prescribes to the world's going to fall apart next week. That's kind
Yeah.
of so, or this cycle or next cycle, or it's so much different from when I was a kid. Like everyone throughout generations, like back in the times before TV, people like, uh, were talking about the world's going to end, and it's not like it used to be, and it's so much worse than it used to be. Like every generation has that comment in some way, shape, or form. Like I think there's going to be bull markets, there's going to be bear markets. There's going to be ups and downs, and there will be winners and losers. But yeah, I don't really think we're headed to hell in a handbasket. There's going to be changes. There's going to be some weird dystopian shit that probably we should fight back against. But
That's
um,
what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Is like the CBDCs, the digital IDs, where if
yeah,
the Democrats get in next cycle and all this the leniency and crypto is here to thrive. We're the hub of crypto in the world. That could change immediately. So we have the answer for that. If it gets crazy over there, we're building that freedom chain over here where you don't have to deal with that stuff. That's the beautiful thing. So if it gets that bad over there, we have the solution right here. So it's almost more bullish for us if it gets more tyrannical.
I think that the concept that people will go where they're treated best applies not just to blockchains, which I think Pulse Chain is, like you said, if centralization is taking over and it gets dystopian and weird, then like places like Pulse Chain will be a bastion of freedom. But it
Yep.
will also apply to countries, right? Like, I know lots of guys now have moved to different places because of different crypto regulations. And like
Mhm.
when like if crypto gets the type of adoption where your grandma's asking you how much Bitcoin she should buy, then that crowd is going to be something that countries will be vying for. Be like, come here and don't pay taxes on your crypto is going to be like, it won't, which is available now in some like fringy countries, but like it'll be like, oh, you could move to, you know, you could move to Germany, and that's the option they provide. For example, like it'll be a big mainstream countries will start competing with each other for crypto billionaires to come live there and pay minimal tax, but generate some of their benefit to the country at large, right? So I think, there will be other options. Like it's not the whole world won't go dystopian all at once. There's always going to be a bastion of freedom like the Pulse
Mhm.
Chain, and we can move back and forth from there.
100%. And that's the thing, Richard. The law is the precedent has been set. nothing can stop it. And I don't know if future projects that want to do the same thing will be able to do what Richard did, but it doesn't matter. He has the funds to build out this entire his own playground where his money is on his chain. It's not at risk with, other chains, on bridges. Like he wants to be able to control everything, I would imagine, in his own ecosystem. And like who else in the world has the ability to do that? Binance, CZ, and Binance, a few people, but they already have what they're going. They already have their golden gooses. Why stray from that? And Richard's the last bastion of hope, in my opinion.
Could be the case, yeah. It's really like I understand people being, happy or unhappy with Richard. It's really there's a lot of speculation involved, but like, this is a man that we know is like probably a billionaire that's already made that, and now he's looking for a different type of success. And and he's kind of stated in the past that like he wants to be, not famous, but remembered as a good person. He wants to be altruistic. He's raised millions and millions of dollars for for charity and things like that. And like, yeah, he doesn't want to leave a stain behind as far as like Hex and Pulse Chain go. So I suspect strongly he will do things that will make this work out. But it doesn't mean he's going to do it tomorrow, or it's going to be in the style or fashion that everybody wants, right? He's very much keeps his own counsel. That's for sure.
Yeah. Do you reckon CZ and RH communicate? I 100% do, bro. I really think when CZ started, well, when he put out his stable coin in like 2022, that is what got the authorities after him. And because Binance was actually running a clean operation, they couldn't do anything. So, I mean, the dude literally was just snatched and thrown in jail and forced to eliminate his stable coin. So I think Richard was in communication with him on what lawyers to use potentially, and probably giving him some guidance. And I would love to see RH and CZ come together. The way he was
I'd love
treated,
to see Pulse Chain Hex tokens on the Binance exchange.
that
I think
too.
that works. But
I
like,
just
think
thought,
about it. Like, how many billionaires are there in the world? Like, of course they know each other. There's like, there's not that many guys, right?
yeah, in the crypto industry too, what, 20,
Oh yeah,
50 at
yeah.
most?
Less. No, like five.
Yeah. It's not that many. And
Totally.
yeah, bro, not, I think so. I don't, I kind of stopped following all the PDA or the Pulse Chain listings with Binance because of the golden loops and this and that. It all came out. It was like that golden loop was for Binance's freaking 8th year anniversary. That's what the 8 was for. Nothing else to do with
Right, all
Pulse.
that speculation about,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember
And,
seeing those.
and once I started seeing that, I paid attention to it for a couple days. And then I was just like, guys, you are literally going for anything here. This is just crazy. And if things happen, it happens. But what has Richard said all along? I don't want to be on exchange. He doesn't want to be on all of the exchanges. But I would think one tier one is a must, and I would go to Binance if I had to pick.
But yeah, Binance or Kraken would be good choices. But
Yep.
like you're right. The Richards, like, he's generally said things against centralized exchanges, and look at what happened today, right? Like, but like I've heard other people talk about how like centralized exchanges are a good tool. Like, just use it like an outhouse, or a porta potty. Get in and out as quick as you can. You don't hang
Yep.
out there, right? It's not a good place to hang out. But I think Richard's worldview is adjustable because he's smart enough to adapt. So we have things like Pumped Out Tires, which is totally was not in character, but it's what people wanted, and they were going to get it somewhere or another. So why not have it do something good like Burn Pulse, which it does quite a bit actually. So like I think the same thing could happen with a centralized exchange. When we look at like the PulseX website, the lack of the limit orders we looked at before, some other fairly fundamental things that weren't there, or even just the recent improvements to the Pulsechain website that like came all of a sudden. Like, it was like a pretty basic website, and now it's actually a pretty decent website. It could have been
Mhm.
that on day one. He understood that it was a very basic, 1999 website. but when it first came out, and it's not like he didn't have enough money or that he didn't understand how to do that. Like, it was left on purpose in a, somewhat unfinished state, and now it's greatly improved. So I think when we look at things like centralized exchanges, like, the real trick to getting on a big centralized exchange is just money. You pay them, they put you on, right? So, like, he could deploy that, like, and sure, they would have the right to refuse, but now that he's beat the SEC, they have almost no reason to. If Richard Hart calls you and says, like, yeah, here's $1 million, put my 4 tokens on there, and then you're going to probably make $1 million more a week in fees off it. Like, yeah, they're going to do it right away. And so, like, could that happen? Like, yeah, it could happen freaking tomorrow.
Oh, 100% agree. I think it's just a timing thing, man. When the time is
It's
right.
all timing, yeah. Like, and we're gonna see more things. Like, more things are gonna drop really fast and furious when it's the right time, right? And that includes any sort of pump from, from whoever controls those SAC funds. Like, they're gonna come at the right time. We don't get to decide when. Somebody else does. But, like, it's on purpose. It's a plan. That's just my belief. This is not, financial advice. Like, I'm just a guy on the internet, but, like, that's what I think is happening.
Yep. Definitely, bro. I completely agree with you. And it's like people that are all bitching that, oh, Richard, he's not here for us small guys. He doesn't care about us. He's wrecked all of our bags. Da 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 da. It's like, you know what? I was back there in 2019, 2020, 2021 watching Richard's streams, and I had a MetaMask transaction frozen for like 6 days. I didn't know how to go find the custom nonce, do all that. There was no support in 2020, no help.
Yeah, there's no help
And
desk.
I had to go to Richard's stream and literally ask him, "Hey Richard, I have a transaction frozen on MetaMask. What do I do?" And he answered it for me, told me what to do. There is not one other billionaire founder in all of crypto that will sit there
Awesome.
for 6 hours on a stream and answer questions from retards. Like,
Yeah.
he did it all the time. And yeah, he got frustrated, stupid people, but anyone that needed help or a question, he answered them all. And you don't see any other founders doing that. You will never catch CZ on a live stream talking to his chat. Never.
Yeah. CZ is not, like, yeah, he's completely unreachable.
Vitalik, none of these guys, bro. Solana, Sergey from Solana or from Chainlink, you never see him on doing that. Like, none of these guys. Charles Hoskinson, yeah, he does streams, but he doesn't talk to his chat. He goes on and rambles and then shuts it down. Richard was there to answer questions and talk to his chat. And, like, that's a billionaire doing that. Like, that shows me he cares about the little person. You can't say he doesn't, or he would never do that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So, but, like, we do have, like, legal situations, stuff we probably don't even know about, that has affected how this works, right? So the concept that that Richard may not have been able to do the same appearances, do the same long live streams that we've seen in the past. Like, I feel pretty sure that, like, there was a legal block on that, right? Like, his lawyers were like, dude, no, you can't live stream. And I suspect that's probably still the case. Once we see the red notice thing with Finland clear up, which again is mostly just connected to money, which is likely something he could fix with money if he wanted to, when he wanted to, is that day's still coming.
Yeah, that's the one thing too that I think he's purposely leaving out there, that it lets everyone speculate, it lets everyone talk. It just gives them a reason to look. I'm on Interpol's most wanted. Why would I be showing my face on stream? It just gives him the perfect excuse to stay quiet. And I think right now him being quiet is the best thing. It's not the right
That's
time.
another one of those timing things too, though. Like we said, right? Like, it could be. I'm sure there's a legal component, but it could also be a tactical component. Can you imagine if he comes back, like, a month and a half from now, middle of November or something like that, and starts doing, like, 7-hour live streams again with, like, live audiences interacting with everybody, like that would be insanely bullish for the price, right? And then starts going on with, like, Crypto Rand and other big guys, like doing those interviews, and those guys will interview him, right? Like, they will return his call, they will have him on, like, that. They'd be super happy to, because they'll get, like, insane audience, whether it's, like, good or bad. So, like, yeah, that I think that's probably going to happen, and it would have a ridiculous effect. Like all of us, guys who've kind of stepped up, like yeah, we're doing what we can, but like I don't think I could compete if we were streaming at the same time as Richard Hart on another on another stream. I think our viewership would probably go way down.
Yeah, it would be only people who don't care about Pulsechain would be watching.
At best, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But he's
Yeah.
entertaining and he's smart. Like even people who don't care about Pulsechain, they're going to be watching, right?
Definitely, bro. Definitely. And I can't imagine he doesn't have this all figured out. Like, imagine if one morning he just popped up on with live with Ivan on Tech unannounced. That would go freaking viral. If he did it with crypto banter, it would go freaking viral. Like
Yeah.
it's so many things that he could do. And if he did it after some green candles, forget about it.
Yep. Like there could be really crazy things that happen, right? Like the guy's a billionaire. He's running in different circles than us. Like, what if he puts his name in for president in the next election, right? Like that's a ridiculous example, but is it impossible? No. Like, he's a crypto billionaire with like a huge following, like who's well spoken and smart. Like, yeah, Trump can't run again. Maybe Richard can run, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
Richard runs on the other side. We have no idea, but it would be crazy, right? Like he has that potential. Very few men do.
What if he was boys with Eric Trump or something, and you see Richard and Eric
Okay.
Trump hanging out in the future? Like, who?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yep. I'm with you.
I don't
Yeah,
think
maybe
he'll
he
come
marries
back to
one
the
of Trump's
US.
daughters. Like, who knows?
Yeah,
It'd be
I
great.
don't think he'd come back here. But imagine if the US got rid of taxes on crypto. I think he would come back.
Yep. Oh, for sure. That could have been the thing, though. I remember in the past, like him talking about, like he didn't like the gun culture in the U.S., the violence. I think that's why he went to live in Europe. So, that he might not see eye to eye with all the Republicans on that one.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's the thing. It's all out of our control. We can do what we can do here to bring people, bring eyeballs. But at the end of the day, Richard's what he does is gonna dictate the amount of X's we do, pure and simple.
Yep. And like and most people don't understand this. And I've actually been asked questions from people like from other chains when they've interacted with me. Like, I don't work for Pulsechain. You don't work for Pulsechain. Zero people pay us to talk about any Richard Hart token or Pulsechain, right? Like there's no fund, there's no VCs, there's no advertising money, right? Like it is like literally grassroots stuff. So like yeah, if the boss can come back and start carrying that ball a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, he will, bro. This is what he lives for. This is his legacy that he's building right here. If he squanders this, he's not. This is taking him, I would imagine, at least 10 years in the making. Like you don't have time to. I mean, maybe you could, but I just don't see him squander this. This is his passion, his dream. He's so freaking smart. He's got money to put the best people around him, best lawyers, best whatever he needs.
Yeah.
You know,
That's cool that you got to be on a call with him, though. I haven't had the chance to meet him yet, just with the timing of when I came in. So maybe one day I will. Certainly sounds not boring. I like people that aren't boring. That's cool.
Yeah. Honestly, I sat there. The call started for a minute. They came on and I just like, hey, Richard, how's it going? And then I didn't say another word until it was like, all right, guys, have a good day at the end. But if I was speaking there, I would have been way the fuck out of place. My job was to bring these people together and let them do their thing. I was not supposed to be out there like I would have no place to be talking there. So
you must have been pretty young in that timeline too, right? Like you must have been 23 or something.
No, it was like February or March of 2022.
Okay. Oh, a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was like
I have trouble telling how old people are. If they're under 30, they all look young to me.
Bro, I am way over 30.
Oh, really? Okay, you've aged well then.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
No, if I took my hat off and you saw the gray hair, you'd be like, all right, something's wrong here. Something's wrong.
So the hat is the secret. Okay. That
the gray. I don't know if you see the gray in here, but it's a little salt and peppery these days.
That you can pull it off. Don't worry about it.
I ain't worried about some gray hair. I got hair, bro. I'm fucking happy. All my friends are bald.
Yeah. You got the lucky ticket on that, like I did. Yeah, I'm just about 50, and no, like it doesn't look like, it looks like I made it. So happy with that one.
Well, no, I would have guessed I would have said 37, 38 if you asked.
I remember being 37.
Me
That's when I
too.
started doing jujitsu when I was 37.
Because yeah, I remember you said you're like, yeah, you were on the street, I popped in there, yeah, I just got out of the rolling on the gym on the mats, and I was like, all
Oh
right,
yeah, just Australians. Yeah.
there's no way he's any more than 40 if he's out there fucking rolling on the mats. But
But
hey,
that's how I stay young. I absorb the testosterone from the younger men, you know.
well, you
Just
staying
keeps me
active,
going.
staying busy, and not honestly, I've come to the conclusion that when like when you're younger in school and you had a big test or exam and you walk into the classroom, you got those butterflies in your stomach, you
Yep.
got like that anxiety and that nervousness. That is the feeling of stress and anxiety. And when people that lie a lot, people that are immoral, they walk around with that feeling in their stomach constantly of, oh God, if this person finds out about that, or I just cheated on my wife, so she finds out. So they constantly have that just like nervousness. And that is literally the definition of how you get cancer. That feeling building up inside of you over the years is cancer.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you get what's it called again? Can't remember my chemistry here, but yeah, your body actually releases like a chemical that's giving you that feeling, that trepidation. So, and you can like doing things like staying active, doing sports. Jujitsu has been great because it's like like if you can get by the concept of stepping into the ring, right, in a public place for a tournament, right, then like some little things start to seem less intimidating, right? So you do that a couple hundred times, stepping into the ring, and you're less you start to get less of that chemical released into your body when like you see some red candles, right? Like it's like nobody's trying to kill me right now. Oh, okay, everything's fine.
Yeah. Oh, bro, this at this point now, these I looked at it, I was like, oh, a dip, cool. This shit'll get bought back up within 3 days. And next week, when we have green candles, everyone will forget about this.
Yep. I wonder, did Trump's like tariff message come out before or after the big
During
hack?
it, we
Okay.
start. Oh, I don't know if it was during the hack, but I'm sure people started getting aware or word of what was happening. So I think around like noon, 1 o'clock, we started going down, and then he spoke. I think around 3 or 4. So
Okay.
probably once he started speaking, the public realized what was going on, and all the insiders knew what was going on. So it just turned into an exchanges can't handle the volume again, just like last cycle. Anytime you get a
Right.
huge pump or something, all the exchanges are shut down. So you're stuck holding the bag.
Interesting. So like I don't, it's just seems rather coordinated, right? Which I suspect the pump will also be rather coordinated, and we'll probably start with something like Trump will announce that he's made a deal with China that he's probably already made, and then there'll be some other bullish crypto news to go along with it to push Bitcoin up to 200K or whatever the actual top for this cycle is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the ETFs coming out next. I think next week.
There we
I
go.
think they'll
Yeah,
launch them.
that's the news. And
Yeah.
then and then the Fed will do another cut where at
Two.
the
We
end of
got
this
one in
month.
October and November,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, so two more cuts. They're
Yeah.
basically turning on the money printer. Yeah, like it's if you can take a step back and get outside of your own head, outside of your own wallet, and look at what the world is doing, it's like, okay, I don't think this is the end. And then if you're on Pulsechain and you can take a step back and look at like, oh, there's this giant wallet that will have probably $1 billion in it one day when ETH goes up to like
In a
six to
month.
500 bucks. Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. And imagine if Bitcoin did hit like 150, 175, ETH going to 15, 20K. And
Oh
then
yeah, and then
maybe
there's gonna
not.
be like $3 billion in that wallet. Like 21K puts about three billion
Yes,
dollars in the Pulse Chain Stack wallet. So it's like
exactly.
Richard could use if he used half of that, only $1.5 billion to pump the chain. Like it's like, yeah, no, everybody's rich, and the ones who remember this day will probably remember that you and I streamed about like, let's keep going, boys. but like a lot of people, that's not the sentiment I'm feeling on Twitter right now, right? Like I've had to block more people in the last 3 days than I've done in the last year. And I don't like blocking people. Usually I'll interact, right? Be like, oh, what's your problem? Can I help you? But like, it's like, no, this just attack bots. I
Yeah.
think some of them are just bots,
Bro, it
actually.
is, bro. They're bots, bro. It's not organic. They're not real people. They're bots.
There's some
Then
weird ones.
yeah,
I have a bit of a conspiracy theory. I don't know if you're into that sort of thing, but
always.
I've been blocking all these accounts. I was talking to Wolf about this the other day. I've been blocking all these accounts that have been popping up. They're like, it'll be like a Pulsechain themed account. It'd be like Pulsex man or something like that will be the name, and it'll list like, hashtag hex and so on and so forth in the description. And it will have like 200 followers, and it will be like 3 months old, right? Like from August. Some of them are even from October, and then you're like, oh, okay, the Pulsex man. I'm gonna check him out. Because he just said something terrible on my post. I always click. I never just block somebody who says something bad. I always check them out. What's the deal? And then I'll look through, and it's like this Pulsechain themed account only says bad things about Pulsechain. Like, but everything about it makes you think this is a Pulsechain fan. And so you
Yes.
click on it. It's like 100 posts that are bad. It's like, and there's a bunch of them. They have almost no followers. They're almost all new. Like, who's doing this and why? And it's like it could be some guy's alt account, but it's like it's been too consistent with this very similar pattern, with the similar like pattern of FUD and pattern of speech. It's like, yeah, there's seems like there's a larger entity trying to FUD Pulsechain with fake Twitter accounts.
Bro, I think honest to God, so we could go pay right now to have people bot our stream and send up our view numbers to whatever we wanted to. We could make it look like there's 2,500 people watching right now if you want to. And you can
I
also,
already did that. I bumped in 600. Do you want me to change the
yep.
number?
Yeah, bro, get 10K in here. Screw it. Let's
Indeed.
so you can, I know you can pay to have the bot attacks because the Caspa community
I'm
did it to
probably.
Cubic and
Oh, really?
the
Interesting.
Monero, yeah, the Monero community did it to Cubic too. So Cubic started mining Monero a couple months ago. It was all part of
Mhm.
the plan. And anyone that was mining Cubic, the founder said, hey guys, stop mining Monero, start mining Cubic. It's twice as profitable. So anyone that's here to just make money, you're going to now say, oh, okay, I'm going to just mine this other coin. It's the same equipment. Now I'll mine Cubic instead of Monero. Well, there was a group of Monero people that DDoSed every single Cubic website, all of the servers, everything for a week and a half straight. The Block Explorer wasn't working right. And it
So weird.
was all of these Caspa guys. And what they were doing is they ran an illegal mining operation where they hacked in to corporations around the world that at nighttime their networks wouldn't be really used. So they would hack in and they would start mining Monero from these other businesses' computers. So they had over $3 million they had mined from stolen energy from businesses around the world. And that one group of people, because they were illegally mining it, they couldn't just switch their miner from Cubic or from Monero over to Cubic. They put up a huge attack, bro. I mean, these Twitter bot accounts were fudding everybody, and it was the same thing. It was an account that was like, oh, I'm into Cubic and Caspa, I love AI. And then it was all just FUD posts and trashing everything. And it's like, no human's going to do this unless they're being paid to do it. And I found out that most 99% is they're all bots and someone paid a service to do that, which is wild these days.
Totally. But yeah, like far from impossible. And with AI, there's probably even ways to automate, all that stuff. Like maybe there's AI spinning up Twitter accounts for all I know, right? Certainly we have the technology for that kind of infiltration. So yeah, if somebody has that technology, if they could forward it to me for, good purposes, white hat hacker purposes, that'd be great.
Yeah, to go around our community and spread positivity and go around to all of the good people in Pulsechain and boost up their tweets with positive posts. That would be
Yep.
cool.
It's
But
one thing I'd like to see is like if somebody wants to pick this up, because I really don't have time, it'd be awesome if there was like a bot and there probably is, that could take people's Twitter accounts, take people's YouTube videos, auto clip them, and put that stuff on like Twitch and Instagram. What's that other one? Chinese one, TikTok. Um, just just because we have so much content on Pulsechain, and there's a couple guys who've really picked up the ball on those other platforms. But like we have so much content on YouTube and on X in particular that like yeah maybe we could dominate like TikTok, right? And like get 1 billion views over there in a week. It sounds like work, and I really don't have time to figure it out, but I bet you one of you guys could.
Bro, or if we if we raised like $500 from people in the community to where that money would go to pay someone to do that.
I thought of that too, that like, yeah, you could have basically a virtual assistant that handled, pulse chain accounts and so on and so forth, and did those things. But then you come into like a vetting process of like, okay, like there's so much money that you can pay this guy. He's working $40 a week. You hire a guy out of, like a cheaper country out of the Philippines or something who's, you can do a lot for not that much money, and it's still ethical because it's good money to him. I've done that sort of thing in the past in other businesses, but like you'd come down to a vetting list of who are the chosen ones who get to participate with this program. Whereas if something was just automated and everybody can use it, it would be
That
it would just be
yes.
fair, and you wouldn't have that
Yeah.
cabal talk. Not that I think some of the cabals and some of the choosing is can be reasonable on occasion, but there's always disagreement and infighting about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, doing it as a just a straight up a automated system where anybody that felt like because with StreamYard right now, when I end the stream, I can go in and click one button and it'll automatically generate me shorts from this stream. So I don't have to do it myself. So
Yeah.
there's already some cool things that are coming, but if we had one where it would just, you know,
And maybe this all exists already, and we just need like a guide. I can see SMO Spider in the chat saying that she uses Opus to spit out
yeah,
all socials. Like,
didn't
I
even
don't know
know
what
what
that is. Maybe I'm gonna
me
check it
neither.
out. But
Yeah.
like a guide, like if it's like, okay, Pulse Chain peeps, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then we're going to take over TikTok as well as Instagram, and you need to press 10 buttons in this order, right? Like, okay, I'll find the time to press the 10 buttons, right? Like I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. And there's these young guys who are jumping on there and doing it, but like, like I'm sure I could get my mind around it. I'm sure you could too, but like all this stuff takes time and effort. So if there's ways that somebody else could just lay it out for me, fast to dual, press these 10 buttons, and okay, I'll press the 10 buttons, right? I'm going to double check first to make sure I'm not downloading malicious things to my computer. But yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check out Opus. That sounds cool. Yeah, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if it already exists. We just don't even know about it.
Quite possible. Man,
Yeah.
I freaked out today. I was in the other room. I have my laptop out on my lap, right? But I have like this I have this like a key like a wireless keyboard that I use with it. And I was actually sitting outside on like a lawn chair, and all of a sudden my computer started going crazy, right? Like it started like things were typing on the screen, and I was like, or one of my keys stuck, but it was different keys. All this stuff was happening, and I was like, oh no, I've been hacked. What's going on? I haven't done anything. I haven't downloaded anything. I have like I have firewalls. I have VPNs, and then I came inside, and there was a cat walking on my keyboard. I was relieved.
Dude, I bet right away your stomach dropped and you were like, "Oh God."
Somebody was typing on my computer, right? I
Yeah.
was like, and it like, and I think that thing where you're like, oh, one of your keys is stuck. It just keeps
Yeah.
pressing zero, but it's like, no, it was all different keys, and I'm like, and it's like, your mind formulates. It's like, is it trying to type wallet addresses? What's it typing? Like, it's like, does this do these things mean anything? It was obviously very random. The cat had no plan, but I was like, whoa, not like, and so I was like, yeah, it took me a couple minutes to figure it out. Then it occurred to me, be like, I have another keyboard that's still turned on. I forgot to turn it off, and there's a cat standing on it.
Oh, that's funny.
It happens to the best of us. But everybody be careful, because it just reminded me, and I've been thinking about my security since then. Be like, yeah, double check your links, double check what you click on. If it's good to have a list of links to click on. Like for Pulsechain, we have there's a site called PLSstart.me that has like a list of all the links. I like to go to there, so I have like a consistent place where I pick my links from. I still double check to make sure I have the right address, but like you have to be really careful with malicious links because like that could have been some Russian guy typing on my computer if I hadn't
Yeah.
been careful up to date.
Yeah, you never know, bro. You never know that shit like that happens at the most unexpected time. And people don't take their security safety safely enough until something happens, and then they go all gung ho about it. But it's so hard to get yourself in that position. It's almost like having something happen where it scares you. We're like, oh my god, you thought something happened and it didn't. That alone should be enough to get you to at least rethink what you're doing.
Yeah. And everybody should be using a hardware wallet, right? Like I just bought a new one. I've actually worn out hardware wallets because I've used them so much. But like I just bought a new one, just came directly from Trezor, direct from the manufacturer. It's the only way you want to do it. It's green, so it's not showing up good. But like, every single person on every single chain needs to have a hardware wallet.
Yeah. And one thing too that I learned recently is because I was looking into like the quantum stuff, if could they hack our wallets and whatnot. What I've realized is if you have a new wallet and you only send into it, and it's like your wallet that you're keeping for long-term stuff, and you've never sent out of that wallet, you've never exposed that key publicly. So as long as you've only sent assets in, your wallet is good to go. It's safe. So what I'm doing now, I'm in the process of doing that, is getting a couple new hardware wallets, a couple new hot wallets, and just leaving them. And then once I take profits, I'm going to be sending that money into those wallets. And then you have the keys for them, and then just delete them and just, you know where they are. That way you don't expose anything. And if some quantum hack or some scare comes out, some new AI bot that's out hacking everyone, they can't get both keys, which I believe prevents you from being hacked or them having
Don't
access
keep
to
your
you.
eggs in one basket. And like, if you use a hardware wallet and your private keys never actually make it online and your seed word never actually makes it online, then like, you're extremely safe. Even
Yeah.
with the quantum, that's imaginary horribles at this point. But
Yeah.
the other consideration is like when you add more words to a seed word, it becomes exponentially safer, right?
Yeah.
So
Even
like
the
a normal
extra
seed,
letter, right? Or the extra 25th word.
25th word is it's just not just like you had 12 and now you have 13. It's not like 1/13th safer. No, it's like 1,000 times safer. And
Yeah.
when you extend that, like internet money actually has an option to have a 24-word seed phrase. It is like 50,000 times safer, right? And like when somebody could be hacking big wallets, public known wallets, so even if this imaginary horrible took place, right? You would have a huge buffer zone if your wallet had a 24-word seed phrase and also did not contain $50 million
Mhm.
because those are the ones that those guys are going to go after, right? Like,
Yep.
so, like, you would know very quickly that this was happening because it would be on the news, and you would have months and months, possibly 10 to 20 years before they got around to spending all the time and energy in supercomputers that aren't built yet to hack your 24-word seed phrase. It's the future, man.
Yep. Exactly. And that's why, like, you just getting in the habits of practicing this stuff right now is so important. So it becomes kind of second
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, even if you're only moving $50 around, like I do have hot wallets, meaning hot wallets that aren't in um aren't like on a Trezor, that I use for
Yeah.
specific things, right? Often testing and stuff like that. But like they do not contain large sums of money for any amount of time, right? Like it's in and out, almost like the same as I'd use a centralized exchange in and out.
Yeah. But like one thing too is like with the ledger with your seed phrase, I was having a problem with one of the chains or with my device. So I just took my seed phrase and I just put it into MetaMask. And that way I was able to access everything right through there. And you can just send transactions without even having to confirm them on your device. So it completely defeats the point of having a
Yes,
ledger.
yeah.
But if you
Yeah,
run into
I wouldn't
problems
go
with
that
stuff
route.
like that, Yeah, you can
I
put
I
your
go
seed.
the other route, right? Like, like you set up, like you could take a private key, or not, like your seed phrase is the one you want to keep absolutely closest, because that seed phrase, you could have 1,000 wallets under that seed phrase. That seed phrase controls every one. The private key is only for that specific wallet. So you could have like an intermediary wallet that has a private key that moves between here and there, right? And that's a minimal risk in comparison to plugging your seed phrase into, anything that's connected to the internet ever.
So, um, oh, I forget what I was going to ask you there about that. Yeah, I forget. Shit. What was I going to say about the seed plugging them in?
Like
Oh,
on Trezor, when you're putting in your seed phrase, you only put it in on this device, right? So even like I had a Trezor that basically broke this year. Like the buttons wore out because I used it so often. So I bought a new Trezor. I think I have 5 now. And um, you put the new seed phrase into the new Trezor via the screen on the Trezor. Like it never actually hits your computer, right? So it's
that's
like
cool.
it keeps it offline, so you can move from one Trezor to another Trezor without ever having to type keys, right? Because somebody could even have like there could be a tiny piece of code, it's so small, right? Like that could fit on any USB that could be tracking keystrokes. You could have a keystroke tracker, and then it'd be very easy with AI now to look at a batch of keystrokes and be like, that's a seed phrase, right? Like seed phrases are a combination of known words. Everybody knows the words or could know the words, but like to have to not have that risk is like a big difference, right? So of course there's also don't do porn in crypto, don't drink in crypto, like all the things, don't visit malicious sites on your crypto computer, right? Like are all good concepts as well. But the Trezor blocks a lot of mistakes that you could make yourself if you follow that simple step. Other things that could hurt you won't hurt you as bad.
Oh, that's what it was. So say I have my hardware wallet, and
Yeah.
I put my ledger phrase into MetaMask, and then I go and I add an account 2 and an account 3 to there. So I open
Yeah.
up a couple new wallets under that phrase. If
Yeah.
I delete it off of there and I go to another computer, put those seed phrases in, will those account 2 and account 3s pop up on that computer?
Yeah. That's why your seed phrase is the thing that you need to keep absolutely safest, because you could add account 2, account 3
Right.
through 1,000, right? And like the seed phrase like will allow anyone who has those words to open it up on any computer and drain every wallet all the way down the list, like every single one that was created under there. So it's, that's the thing you want to keep the absolute safest, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like the private keys, right, which is not your wallet address. So you have a public wallet address that you could show somebody if you wanted to. I think most people should keep them private as often as possible, but people can look to see, oh, a transaction went to this wallet. It might be your wallet. There's usually no way they can tell it's you, but that's your public wallet address. But there's a private key set that controls each individual wallet on that list. And if you lost that somehow and a hacker got it, they could drain that wallet only, right? So if
Yep.
you're setting up some sort of process where you have intermediate wallets, then you can use that to move like, oh, I need this on this computer this way. But like the nice thing about the Trezor is like this is a reasonably portable device, right? So like I could just carry this Trezor around from computer to computer without ever revealing that seed phrase too, right? And I can add additional wallets on, like I like to use like a Rabby front end for stuff I'm doing with devs and things. And like on a Rabby wallet, you can have 3 different Trezors, 5 different Trezors on there, hot wallets on there, and you can transfer in between them as long as you have the Trezor for the Trezor wallets. It's totally doable. But like almost you don't, like, unless you're replacing your Trezor, you don't want to pull your seed phrase out. It should stay where it is.
Yeah. Because I did that in like 2023. I added a second account, and for some reason I bought PTGC in there. And since
Right.
it's a 6% tax
Yeah.
token, I can't
Cost you to
send it
move it.
out. So
Mhm.
I put my seed phrase in a different computer. I had it still on one, put the same seed phrase into the second computer, but it didn't recognize my second account. I couldn't see it there. It didn't pull it up until, but
You have to
luckily,
recreate that account, but it will be there on the list. Every account that you have is still there.
so I wrote down the key, the
Yeah,
private key, and then I
yeah,
manually imported that, and then it pulled it up. But I
yeah.
was like, oh shit. So if I didn't write that private key down, it might not have recognized that second wallet I created.
It's still there. The order might have been off or something. If you kept clicking like add wallet, like it would have been on the list. Um, I
Okay.
I would have to double check the process of finding a particular one inside that list, but I would imagine it would still be there. In Rabby, you're probably talking about MetaMask,
It
right?
was in MetaMask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Rabby, there's an option to add from your particular wallet, right? So I can go into my Rabby, I can click add, right? And then it's going to allow me to add from like either from one of the treasures I have in there, which will be like, however many I want under that treasure, or from the seed phrase of the Rabby wallet I'm using, or from another wallet where I've added that key not key, the seed phrase. I could add any wallets, and it would give me a list of the wallets. So if you had the wallet address, you could look at the screen and be like, okay, here's the first 100 wallets. Like I'm looking for the one that ends in 329, right? And you could find it and then add it. But that's probably what happened. It was probably out of order. You were expecting it to be number 2, maybe it was number 4, like
Yeah.
but like it
Well, I
100% is there.
added it. It just kept giving me new accounts. So I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm gonna just add it," but it never popped up my old one until I put my key in there. So from
Yeah.
now on, I was just like, I wrote down the keys for the 2 wallets I have where I did that, where I have tax tokens in that I'm not sending out. I just
Yeah.
wrote it down just in case that happens. But I'm gonna download Rabby,
Yeah,
honestly, and just put
Grab will work
everything.
good for that. I think Internet Money has a similar feature, though I haven't used it for that, so I'm not gonna. Don't quote me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'll check it out on Internet Money because I would actually like to use that because they XDC is a pain in the ass. It serves its purpose in the TradFi world for um what they're doing with trade finance and stuff, but as for actual like DeFi and moving altcoins around on there, it's just a pain in the ass. So having Internet Money with that network on there, with Pulsechain, with all the networks I have coins on, it's great because there's no other place that even allows you to do that.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. But yeah, there is the tech. Just be careful. Be careful who you ask for help. Always make sure you're talking to the right person. Like there's no help desk, basically, right? I know but not everybody listening is going to know. Anybody claiming to be the crypto help desk is really a Nigerian guy, and he's going to take your money. No
Yeah.
disrespect on Nigerians, but because they speak English there as one of their core languages, they tend to get a lot of the scammer jobs.
Yeah. Right now, you can literally set up a wallet and multiple wallets under your Gmail account. Goes for MetaMask or Phantom. Right.
Yeah.
So Saucer Swap, which is one of my favorite projects on Hedera, they just put out their mobile app, and they have a brand new way too, where it's a seed phrase less in mobile wallet, where you just use your email and something else. But that's the future where these
That's
wallets
a
that can
terrible future though, right? Like, is what like if your email gets hacked, they've also hacked your crypto wallet. Is that where we're going? Because
I
that sounds
no,
pretty high
no.
risk.
Once I don't know how I need. They just went live within the last week. I'm gonna download it and see how it works. But no, it's actually secure. Like the seed phrase is in the wallet, and there's ways to restore it. That's not just your. I think once you get inside the app, you either have to put answer with like 3 security questions, or there's got to be something in there because otherwise, yeah, it would be pointless.
But like still like on a hacking ratio, right? Be like, okay, so it's attached to your email. There's no seed phrase to recover it, right? And if like 3 security questions, which like people are gonna like name of my dog, mother's maiden name, my birthday, right? They're gonna use dumb stuff that people that you'd be able to
Yeah.
harvest from social media. Like it seems like it's opening up a hacker gateway in compared to the the actual seed phrase option that we're using right now.
Yeah, no, I was kind of leery about it, but I know saw Hedera, they are working with Ripple and Algorand on the whole decentralized recovery thing, where it's a whole new way. Instead of having a seed phrase you write down, you have what they're called your friends, and you have about 20 of them, and each one of them stores a piece of your key on the internet, and the only
Right.
way you can recover it is your friends have to sign off on a transaction. So like all your friends have to approve something at once, or else none of your stuff can move. So it's really cool. It's not there yet, but when they can figure this out, like that's the future, because having to hide a seed phrase and bury it, make a copy of it, like you're just a sitting duck with your ledger. But if people knew that, even if they got a hold of you, that they would have to go through this process of having you get in touch with all these people to sign it off, it just kind of prevents that whole kidnapping and stuff, I think. Or
I'm with you.
hopefully.
Like there is that tech exists already though, right? Like there's multi-sigs, right? Like there's there's definitely ways with the current technology you could do that. I'm interested in what you're saying. It sounds like it's going to be good for adoption, but like anything where like the concepts of like your wallet being connected to your email, or anything with like biometrics, like your thumbprint opens your wallet, like just concerns me that it's lowering the hacker barrier. I wouldn't be an early adopter, right?
Yeah.
If they perfect it, maybe I'm in, right? But I'm not going
Yeah.
to be an early adopter on anything that's connected to my, relatively unsecured email, right? Like it's not that hard to hack an email versus, anything. Or like, what if you're a waitress at a restaurant can take your thumbprint off your coffee cup and get your crypto wallet? Like, that
That's
kind of
so
stuff's
true.
freaky.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see where it goes. I mean, maybe there's something in there, your email address is your login, but once you get in there, there's some kind of feature or something that goes on inside the app that is, I don't know anything about it. I'm gonna look into it. Like it starts in 2 days, but it excites me to see that they're making
Me
progress
too.
on this, because this is not sustainable. No one holds their stock certificates. Like, you know what I mean? But so you buy a stock, oh, I got to wait for my certificate to come in the mail to be able to sell it. Like, no one does that shit or hold it. So, we're moving in the right direction, but this stuff will take time, and it's got to be done the right way. Last thing you want to happen is for a major disaster to happen and set the industry back another freaking year.
Agreed. And like, like I feel that like, we're mostly talking to fairly advanced users. Like there does have to be some in between things, like centralized exchanges are pretty easy to use, right? You can, sometimes they actually have a help desk. Like it's a, for new people to come in, right? Now, I'd like to see those things meet in the middle at some point where there was complete decentralization, and high security, and easy to use, right? Because I remember my first days of DeFi, like learning what a MetaMask wallet was and being like, oh, like like there's a learning curve here. Some of us forget, and we use all this shop talk, like when I ask someone if they have a MetaMask wallet and they're like, what? Like, it's like, okay, that's where we're starting. And like, you have to remember, some people are starting there and be like, I have crypto, but you don't know what MetaMask is. Like, oh, okay. Like, you kind of have crypto. Really, someone else has your crypto, but okay. Right. But yeah, we need it easy, we need it secure, and we need it decentralized. Those are the three keys.
Yeah, definitely. Well, shit, I can't believe we're only going on for almost 2.5 hours
Oh, really
already.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
get almost 1 o'clock here on the East Coast, getting late. Feel like it was a really good stream, bro. Definitely. I
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
thanks for having
love
me on,
to,
man.
yeah, if you have the ability to do it maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks or something, and just do a consistent stream, because people seem to
Yeah.
like this. A lot of positive chats and people talking. So this is what we're here for, to provide information, answer questions for you guys, show you stuff. Like, I'm here to help. I'm an open book.
People really needed this today. So yeah, thanks for having me on, and spending the time to be on a hard day. These are the hardest days to stream, right? Like emotionally, like we're feeling the same things you guys are feeling. right? But we're trying to take a step back and talk to the audience. So it's like, yeah, I appreciate you showing up for work today, Adam. It's not that many people did. It's pretty dead out there, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and that's once you're here for multiple years, these dips, you're just like, it's just another day. You expect them, you know they're coming, and it sucks when they're here. It doesn't feel good when you look and 25% of your crypto portfolio just got nuked. That's a shitty feeling for everybody. Like, no one's gonna come and be like, oh, it was a great day. I love losing money. No, get out of here. But you got to stay positive, and when bad shit like this happens, you can't let it affect the decisions you make moving forward. Yeah. Awesome. Well, appreciate everyone that was in here. 921. I feel like that's got to be a record for me. Appreciate you bringing in a bunch of followers. Hopefully there's some new people here that got exposed, and we'll come back for some more. Indeed.
For a good time, follow Fast Abdul.
Yes, definitely follow Fast, and I'm going to be checking out his DeFi platforms over there, and definitely going to start getting myself involved, because this is what Pulsechain was meant for us to become our own banks, remove the middlemen, and do this stuff ourselves. And then eventually we all make a lot of money and we do a lot of good for the world.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys, smash that like button, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah. Up in the building. Yeah, we lighting up the scene. Crypto gems on radar, chasing every dream. Do your own research, that's the golden theme. We bring the facts, no cap, we keep it clean. Scrolling through the charts, got my eyes on the rise. Viber got the info, got me feeling so wise. No hype, just the truth, yeah, we cutting through lies. Sharpen knowledge on a daily, watch the profits multiply. From Bitcoin to the altcoins, we digging for gold. Community so strong, never do what you're told. That's the motto, let the story unfold. We ain't selling you a dream, just the facts to behold. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep the future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. No pump and dump, just the realest advice. We break it all down, make it simple and nice. Every tip, every trick, got you rolling the dice. But with knowledge in your pocket, you can win every price. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep your future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. So when you're lost in the crypto sea, Viber is the light, come vibe with me. Stay smart, stay sharp, and you'll always see the best gems shine with transparency.